Do I have to be ready?
He looks ready to me.
Yeah, you look ready.
If you guys want a
Like
lightsaber, by the
SpongeBob.
way,
I'm
I got a
ready,
pile of
I'm
them. I'll
ready.
Just, like, throw them at
But
you.
they're over there.
Do you want one?
All right, welcome back.
Throw matter. Just
Welcome back to the
randomly.
Bonsai
Randomly.
Movie Crew.
She hits me in the eye.
Where every week we talk about another movie.
I'll
laugh.
hand it.
They're talking about lifesavers and shit.
Throwing at
Candy.
people.
It's important.
Candy. As usual, make sure you check out our TikTok, which Madison will get on. Right, Madison?
Yes.
Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube, of course, because that's probably where you're looking at our beautiful faces. Also, don't forget about our Rumble, and to make sure you like, share, subscribe, and all that good funky shit. And comment and all that good stuff. And make sure you go to our Spotify if you're listening to the podcast or whatever. And make sure you give us a badass rating because we're fucking badass. Why wouldn't you? Duh.
Or if you're on YouTube and you're like, have the Spotify.
Right.
do
Yeah.
that.
Or just do it. Oh, I think you have to listen to an episode in order to
You
rate
can skip
rate
through
people. Don't do that.
it. But if they've already watched it on YouTube,
True. Good point. Yeah. Yeah. If you're on YouTube, just go skip through the episode and then rate us.
If you
Give
like us enough, watch it twice.
that too.
Yeah. Or watch it and then listen to it.
While you're at work.
Yeah. Or while you're doing whatever. Maybe you're
Maybe you
Making-
listen to it at work and then
Don't-
go home and
maybe
watch
you're
it.
giving your wife a little pickle tickle. Listen to us there. Whatever floats your boat.
Don't get fired though.
Your
'cause if
wife
you get
a pickle
fired
tickle?
And you can't pay for
And giving the
Spotify
wife a
Premium,
pickle
that
tickle.
sucks.
Your wife has a pickle?
No, I'm saying you tickle her with your pickle.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
You did
It's
say
Haven't
just
you ever
the,
seen-
just the
you
way
did
you
say-
just
Haven't you ever
said
seen?
it.
Haven't you ever seen
You did say tickle
League of
your
Our
wife's
League of
pickle.
Our Own?
Yeah.
The part where what's his face? He goes, "I'm gonna go home, give my wife a little pickle tickle, and be back at it."
I don't remember that part.
No, it was the part
No.
where what's his name? God damn it, he used to be on SNL and everything else. He was in Little Nicky. He's been all kinds of stuff. He was in he was the guy watching the girl outside the room in Little Nicky.
Oh, John Lovitz.
John Lovitz, yeah. That was him. He says it in League of Their Own.
Okay. I don't remember that, but yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
he said they're like, "You're leaving?" He's like, "Yeah." He goes, he said, "Now don't get attached." He goes,
I remember the don't
yeah.
get attached.
And then he goes on to say, "I'm going to go home and give my wife a little pickle tickle and be back out on the road."
That reminds me of the part on Clue at the end where the guy that's been like saying he's gay the whole time. He's like, I'm gonna go home and sleep with my wife.
Good for you, man. Good for you. Anyway, let's get into a little
3 minutes
bit of
already off
news.
topic.
Yep, pickles. All right, let's talk about some news, man.
Joseph's got some fucking news.
All right, so I don't have any news really, but I had this idea. I'm gonna go through, and I know there's a lot of movies yet to come out this year. So I printed off a list of movies that you may not know are coming out this year that still have yet to be released or even have trailers released for them. A couple of these do have trailers, but I'm going to list them all off for you. And just so you got you're aware of what's coming out this year yet. Still to
Informed.
come. Yeah, what you can look forward to before the end of the year. So first off, we've got The Exorcist Believer. This is directed by David Gordon Green, the same guy that brought you that whole Halloween franchise, that new trio of Halloween movies.
Isn't it the same whole creative team or something?
I don't know if it's the whole. I know he's the director. That's all I
Yeah.
know. So this one's going to star Leslie Odom Jr., Ellen Burstyn, and Ann Dode. I don't know any of them people, but it's set to come out October 13th of 2023, just in time for Halloween. So I can give you a rough rundown of some of these. Let's see here. So this is supposed to be, it says, as with his tackling the Michael Myers story, The Exorcist will follow up to the original and the 1973 original only, and will reportedly unfold as the first of a trilogy, of course, with Ellen Burstyn set to reprise her
Yeah, she played.
starring role.
Yeah, she played the mom,
She-
Chris McNeil, in the original. Or in no shit.
Are you sure that isn't girl? Who played the girl? The little
No,
girl?
Linda Blair played the girl.
Oh, that's right. It was Linda
Yeah.
Blair. Yeah.
But I heard that the early screenings didn't do too well. Like
Probably not as David Gordon Green. He
Yeah.
sucked at making the Halloween movies.
the first one wasn't
It was
bad.
okay,
But then like
but I don't know, man. Like I don't know. I'm not.
they
even
lost
into
it somewhere in the middle of the
Yeah,
second.
especially that last one. It made no fucking sense.
Yeah, the last one was bad.
Anyway, so then you got Saw 10, Saw X as it's
Halloween
put.
Kills? I thought that you guys said that was a good one.
The last one?
No.
The Halloween Ends?
Halloween Ends would have been good if it wasn't called Halloween Ends.
Because it didn't.
If it would have just have been a movie about that kid and that girl and all that, it would have been a good movie.
Yeah, if it wasn't a
But it was a Halloween movie,
Yeah,
and it made no fucking sense, and I
Yeah.
didn't like it.
Oh.
So, all right, so you got Saw 10 coming out here. Still yet, it doesn't have a release date yet, but it's directed by Kevin Grudert. I don't know. Starring Tobin Bell.
Didn't he die?
I say, isn't he
Wait.
dead? I
I
mean, not
haven't-
in real life, but like in
Yeah.
the franchise. I don't know, man.
I haven't watched like
I
since the third. I
What,
think.
Saul.
Yeah,
Yeah, they should have ended after the third one.
because he
It's
died.
kinda
He
same
died in
way
the
with
third
Scream.
one, didn't he? So
I think so.
They don't really
the
know.
third or
Yeah, he
fourth.
died in like the third or fourth one because he had cancer or something.
Yeah.
yeah.
So this one they don't know. They don't really know of anything about it. All they know. Oh, it's supposed to be premiering on October 27th, 2023. So just in time for Halloween. Okay, so then I don't know. I'm sure a lot of you already know about this, but Dune Part 2 comes out this year, November 3rd, as a matter of fact. This was directed by Denis Villeneuve.
That's a fun name.
Yeah. Obviously stars Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, Rebecca Ferguson, Javier Bardem, Josh Brolin, and Stellan Skarsgård. Obviously, if you don't know what that's about, then you probably don't care about the fucking movie, so.
Is it a horror movie?
No. It's
Oh.
like a
It's a
fantasy sci-fi
yeah,
movie,
sci-fi,
kind
I was
of.
gonna say, if
I've
it was a
never
horror
seen
movie,
them,
I'd
I
be
just know
interested in it.
The
enough.
first one was really fucking good.
I know
really
enough.
liked the first one.
I just know enough, like from back in the day, seeing bits and pieces of the old one.
I never watched the original, didn't care, but I watched this one, the new one, and I loved it. I thought it was great. The whole, like, the cinematic, all the set pieces, I mean, the music, it set a great tone. I loved it. It was great. So, then we have a movie called The Killer, directed by David Fincher, starring Michael Fassbender, Tilda Swinton, Carrie O'Malley, and Charles Parnell. This one's set to come out November 10th, 2023 on Netflix. So, Netflix release. You're going to have to go to the thing for that. Okay, so we don't know much about this film except that it is a neo-noir. Oh, really? Okay. Thriller based on a French graphic novel series. And it will star Michael Fassbender and Tilda Swinton, among others.
That kind of sounds
That
interesting.
does actually sound pretty cool. Another one that you guys probably didn't know, another franchise that they're continuing on with here, Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Directed by Francis Lawrence, starring Tom Blythe, Rachel Zegler, Peter Dinklage? Oh yeah, he is in it, isn't he? Hunter Schafer, Josh, somebody else, Jason Schwartzman, Viola Davis, Venus. This comes out November 17th, 2023. And if you want to see a trailer for this, the trailer is available on YouTube. Which I'm sure a lot of you knew that this was coming out. So this one had me kind of thrown for a loop. They're coming out with a Napoleon movie about Napoleon. But check this out. It's directed by Ridley Scott. Yeah, Ridley Scott. I'm like, huh, okay. So this one's going to be starring and also Joaquin Phoenix as Napoleon. Yeah. Vanessa Kirby, and some other people. So this one comes out November 22nd, 2023. I'm actually kind of interested in this, but only because it's Ridley Scott and Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
I'm
I
like,
kinda feel
huh.
like-
I'm not big into biopics or anything. Like, I don't like
Nah.
biopics that much. It's like, who gives a shit? But yeah, I'm kind of interested in that one, just because of Ridley Scott and Joaquin Phoenix. Here's another one with Timothy Chalamet. Comes out this year. Comes out December 15th. Wonka. Directed by Paul King. Stars Timothy Chalamet, Olivia Colman, Sally Hawkins, Rowan Atkins, Keegan-Michael Key. I hope Keegan-Michael Key is playing the Oompa Loompas. I fucking hope so, man. I do. I hope so. I love Keegan Michael Key. So like, after he played Toad, I'm like, yeah, okay, you know,
him playing him,
All
but
of the
like
Oompa
with
Loompas.
Toad's voice.
yeah.
Like-
Oh yeah. There you go. Yeah. Everybody knows the story of Willy Wonka and Charlie and all that stuff, so I don't even have to explain that.
So do we really need another one?
That's what I thought too. I'm like, this will be the third time, but I don't know. Okay,
Only
so
if Charlie is like Wonka, you know.
so this is an
That'd be the only way.
origin story.
If they go, if it's
This
the
is-
origin story again.
no, it's an origin story of Willy Wonka.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
All
So
right.
this isn't going to be a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory deal. This is going to be Willy Wonka's.
Okay. Well,
origin
I can
story.
live with that then.
So it'll be interesting. I'm
Didn't they
interested.
do that with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where like they
They gave a
I
little
mean,
bit of a
they gave you
backstory.
a little dab of it, but not.
yeah, but
like,
they didn't go into depth with anything or
Yeah.
anything. They're just like, oh yeah, he traveled the world
His
looking.
dad was a dentist.
His dad was a dentist.
And
And
his
didn't let
dad
him
was
have the
dentist,
candy, and that's why he's obsessed with it.
Yeah. Also, December 20th, 2023. Not a lot is known about this one, but Ghostbusters Afterlife sequel. Also directed by Jason Reitman. So,
Which Ghostbuster are they going to kill off now?
Technically, they didn't
I
kill
know-
him.
I was gonna say, he was dead in real life.
I
They
didn't-
they
I know
just
they
gave
didn't kill
him,
him
you know,
off, I'm
props
just-
and all
which
that.
was pretty cool, honestly.
They did an
a great
amazing
job.
job
so-
with the
They did a
first
good
one.
job.
There's not a lot of details about this. I'm not even sure.
Oh yeah, we got a new prop. Speaking of Ghostbusters,
It says that the original stars, the kids, are most likely to return. It's not been confirmed, so we'll see. But December, that's not far away for them not to
Right?
know.
yeah.
That's definitely getting pushed back. Sorry, guys. They're
This-
definitely
if,
pushing that back.
if there's any reason that the kids aren't in it, that it's not because they don't want to, it's because of some kind of obligation.
Or
Let's just keep
it's
pushing until we
contractual,
get everybody
yeah.
in.
But the thing is like if it hasn't started filming yet, and they don't have like at least people lined up to star in the movie, it's not coming.
I know,
out in
like
December.
Paul Rudd already signed on. I
Okay.
know him for sure because
Yeah,
he,
but
he
still,
talked
they'd
about
have to
it.
start filming like
right,
now.
right.
Like
you know,
today.
because not
Yeah.
only do they have to film, but they have to get into post production.
My thing is that they did such a good job casting in the first one that I don't see how they could recast, like especially the grandkids.
yeah, right.
Like
Unless
that, I
they,
just-
like bring in like something like Ray or
I thought
What,
Finn
their-
Wolfhard's.
their
I
family
think
members?
I kind of thought that Finn Wolfhard's character was a little, I don't know, deadpan. Like
He
he
was
wasn't
weak.
very. He wasn't very.
But I think it was on purpose because he would. This is how I think it was done. So he was boy, so he would have been the easy one to be like Egon's, like direct.
I like that it was a little girl. The little girl was
Exactly.
amazing.
Yeah,
dude.
that's
She was
what I'm
awesome.
saying. So like he was kind of just off to the side because he wasn't the focal point. She was because she was so much like her grandfather.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is one that I'm really excited about. And this is coming out December 22nd on Netflix. Directed by Zack Snyder. Rebel Moon. This has a stacked cast too. So this has got Charlie Hunnam, Sophia Botella, which you would know as like from the Mummy remake. She played the Mummy, which was a flop.
I
but
never saw it, but
I
I
didn't
saw
think
the
it was that
trailer.
bad, but I could see why people didn't like it. So.
I do want to see it. I just
It's
haven't.
not bad. But I love Tom Cruise though, so I'll watch anything with Tom Cruise. I know he's a fucking weirdo. Okay, I get it.
I'm a little sad that it killed the rest of the universe just because
It
like,
did. It completely destroyed. And
Yeah.
I think that was the big banker that, like, I think Tom Cruise was trying to sign on to that whole expanded universe,
Yeah.
and it kind of didn't pan out for him.
Yeah, it
So-
really.
and
kind
usually
of-
he's good about like, I'm signing on to this because I have confidence in it,
yeah.
and he's really good at making those kinds of business decisions. But in this case, I guess he was wrong. So, okay, so this stars Charlie Hunnam, Sophia Botella, Michael Huseman, Carrie Elwes, Corey Stoll, Jenna Malone, Ed Skrein, and some other people. So the plot synopsis for this movie sounds way worse than I think it's going to be. So it goes like the story centers on a peaceful colony who's threatened by a tyrant. Send a young woman to neighboring planets to recruit an army. I I think this is a mistype here. Okay, the film is scheduled. Yeah, it doesn't even. Okay, so never mind. I don't have a good synopsis because they mistyped it or something. Makes no sense. I'm not even gonna read that. Never mind. But anyway, if you're interested, just look it up.
They didn't mistype. You didn't mistype that.
But some of the
That's
some,
real
dude,
stuff.
some of the
That's
like
actually the
well, some of the
synopsis.
set designs look. I mean, they look okay, but it's got to have that Zack Snyder sort of gritty feel to it. But also, so some of the character design looks fucking amazing. So that's what I'm most excited for. And also, last but not least, I guess if you're into this kind of bullshit, Legally Blonde 3.
Yes.
So, so if you're into that shit, so directed by Jamie Sook, obviously starring Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Coolidge. There's not a lot about this one. Doesn't even really have a
Was there a
release
lot about
date.
The other two?
There's not a,
What?
huh?
What?
What?
Huh?
I don't know. But
So there was there a lot about the other two?
that's true. So there's no release date or anything like that other than it's just coming out this year. So look forward to that if you're into that crap. I think that's all I got for that. Do you guys have any news you want to throw in?
I do not.
No, I tried to look up the Jonathan Majors stuff. There's still not anything going on there. I know that they had a trial set up and they're going to start court proceedings here soon. And I still haven't heard anything else on Danny Masterson about his sentencing. He's still, I guess, just sitting in jail waiting to be sentenced or whatever.
What about the aliens?
Unless I don't know nothing about
Not the aliens
in
in the movie, but like
Yeah, right,
the
right.
aliens.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I
No.
know nothing about that. So
We'll find out sooner. or
yeah,
later.
I can only tell you what is told to me.
No, we know
Uh,
everything. Don't tell them that. We know everything.
We know it all, but we don't want to tell you.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's what it is.
we just
We
can't.
don't tell you until the media lets you know.
Right, exactly.
We can't
all right,
tell you.
so
Legally, we're not
It's all
allowed
very
to.
hush hush.
let's get into what everybody's been watching here.
What the hell have you been watching?
Let's start with Karen since she's always got the mostest.
Whose line is it anyway? I finished True Detective season 3 and
Hold on.
Ghosts.
What do you think of season 3?
I liked it, but I think it was kind of just a rehashing of season 1.
A little bit, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, but I did like the cops better. I like the cops in the season 3 better than any other season.
Oh, for sure.
Were they
Yeah.
bad
Yeah.
cops?
I love that at the end they were still friends and
And the thing that, oh man, it was so heartbreaking that he found out what happened to her, but he couldn't remember.
Mhm.
But
That was
yeah.
like, oh, come on, she's right there.
Yeah, but like in a way though, it's kind of like good though because if
It's
he-
nice for you because you have that comfort,
Yeah.
but he doesn't.
right, but like you
But
know,
I think it's also a resolution for him because he's like,
well, and also it's like if he did know, would he have accidentally told someone and then she'd be in danger and blah blah blah
True,
blah blah.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So like it kind of was a fitting ending,
Right.
but you were kind of like, oh, poor guy. Like
yeah, like he needed to know.
like you feel sorry for him, but like he doesn't know that he doesn't know either. So it's
Right.
kind of like, yeah, you know,
I think Yahya Abdul, that's not Yahya. What's his name?
Mahar. I can't even say
uh,
it. Mahershala.
Mahershala Ali.
Thank you.
Mahershala Ali. He's fucking great, dude. I'm
He
so
is.
glad he's gonna be playing Blade. So glad
Yeah,
because he's gonna make an awesome Blade. He's
Yeah.
so fucking cool. I love that
agree.
dude.
Very, he's so calm.
Yeah, he's so calm and cool, dude. Like
yeah,
I love watching him and shit. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
but yeah, I really liked 3. Yeah, and I watched more of that Ghost show, and that's it. I had a really busy weekend.
Apparently, you didn't do that much. Madison, what'd you watch this week?
Well, I started watching The Mick on Netflix.
That is
I
hilarious.
know.
Oh my god!
I didn't even know what it was about because there was no trailer. There's no trailer for it yet on
Yeah.
Netflix, and I got into it. I just wanted to watch it because
Oh,
Dee
man.
from It's Always Sunny.
We watched it when it was on TV,
Really,
and then like binge watched the rest of it. Oh my
dude. I got on there and the first.
What's so great
episode,
about it?
It's so I can't
It's
remember
funny.
very well. I just remember like laughing my ass off and being pissed when I found out it got canceled.
It got canceled.
Yeah.
I started a show that got canceled.
You
Yeah.
just ruined her dreams,
Sorry, I thought
Karen.
dude, it came out like years ago and it hasn't had a new season in years.
You fucking killed it for her,
I'm
Karen.
gonna read what year it was.
I bet she was busy as fuck, man. Because she was still doing It's
She
Always
was,
Sunny.
yeah. Yeah.
Like she was. I bet she
Well,
was busy
Glenn
as shit.
Glenn had that other show for a while where he was like a teacher or something, doing both shows at the same time.
Oh, really?
They've all done other stuff, and like Mac, he's doing something right now with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh,
Was he
yeah.
really?
They bought a soccer team.
Yeah, but I mean that takes up time. You know what I'm saying?
I
They all have
guess.
side gigs, and then
They bought
they
the
do a
Wexham
podcast.
soccer team.
They do a podcast together. Charlie Day.
Yeah, I
does
know they
movie,
do that. Yeah,
You know, so
yeah. Charlie Day's probably the most busy of all of them. I
Mhm.
bet he's always
Well, it's
Movies
understandable.
and-
He's awesome.
did you guys
he's the best character.
know him and his wife, the girl that plays the waitress? The first thing they did was a Reno 911 episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
I,
really?
I showed it to you. Yeah, they play brother and sister.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You told
in a
us that.
trailer park. Yeah.
That's-
they call it.
awful.
They call the cops because he's trying to kill her baby, and they show up and they're like, "You can't kill a baby. You can't kill a baby." And
It's a baby doll.
he comes out and he's got his hand on the baby's head. It's a baby doll. It's like, they're like, "It's a squeaky baby. It's a squeaky baby. It's okay." It's
And that was in
funny. Reno 911.
That was before
Then they
It's
try
Always
to
Sunny.
arrest him for like popping
Oh.
the head off or some shit.
No, because they arrested him because he started like kicking and screaming at her or whatever. Then she gets in the car and starts French kissing him. They're like, "You're brother and sister." They like break him up. It's funny. It's really funny. Anyway,
I watched It's Always Sunny today, actually, with Dad. We watched, I watched 2 episodes. He had watched an episode in 5 minutes because he said he didn't like the episode that much.
I just wasn't into it.
which one was it?
I thought it was fun.
It was the one where
Frank
ran into the back of Dennis's car and he spilled cereal all over his car and he wanted Frank to pay for it.
Oh, by the way, Dee ended up paying for it in the end.
Of course she did. Dee always gets a shaft.
Yeah, she does. And they wonder why she's such a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
The only thing I remember from that episode, really, but it's mostly because of the meme, is the him eating the cereal and "you dumb bitch."
You dumb bitch.
Anyway,
Okay, and I think that's it. I watched a little bit of The Walking Dead, not a lot, because I've been watching a lot of the Mick. That's all I watched last night.
I don't
And
blame
the
you.
night Before I got to season 2 in a day. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and
Okay.
Okay.
I watched a few episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer after I watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer, like the show.
Yeah,
not
the show.
movie. And well, it was more Ada's thing than my thing. Oh, I already said that, didn't I?
Yeah.
Last week. Yeah. But yeah. That's it.
All right, Eric. What'd
So,
you watch,
Oh.
man?
And Little Shop of
I had a
Horrors.
feeling.
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
had
right.
a feeling.
He did watch. I watched part of that too. Little Shop of Horrors.
The original or the
The
Yeah,
musical.
I forgot it was a
Oh,
musical.
the
No, that's not the
Yeah.
original. The original is from like the 50s.
Yeah, it's black and white,
Oh,
Yeah.
and it's
yeah.
actually a horror movie.
And it's not a musical.
Yeah, it's not a musical. It's
Oh,
very
I forgot this
serious,
was a musical.
serious business.
Started off with like singing, and I was like,
I
no.
love that movie.
She always tried to get me to watch it, and you made me watch it when I was younger, but I could never.
I
get into
love
it.
Little Shop. That's like
I
one of my
love Little
all-time
Shop of
I
favorites.
I
man.
couldn't get into it. I'm not big.
It's
into
probably it is.
Seymour.
It definitely is my favorite musical.
Oh, good. You should have been in the play.
I should have. Seymour.
Give it a pause. We'll wait.
No, it's okay. You can go. I'm done. I'm sorry.
Steve Martin's character is still the best, dude.
Yeah.
Steve Martin kills it in that fucking movie.
The
He kills it. Yeah, the dentist.
Steve Martin usually kills in anything he plays.
Almost said, "You'll be a dentist."
The way he just the bike stops.
He's like,
He's like Elvis. he did the dentist Elvis stuff.
Yeah, he did.
"All right, Eric."
So I watched the Zack Snyder cut for Justice League.
Oh God, all 4 hours of
Oh,
it.
the 4 hours.
Ooh, buddy.
That was like the
Why?
one thing.
You must have been bored.
Yeah.
I watched it
That
too,
was
and I'm
like
like,
the
"This
one
is so
thing.
long."
Like at the end,
Yeah.
you're like,
Oh no! Like the first time I watched it, I had COVID, so I had nothing to do. So
Oh, you
you
watched
watched
it
it
twice?
again.
This is the second.
You
time.
had 8 hours of your life to give to that.
Yeah. Well, I watched it in like,
The Snyder cut is better than the
Yes.
original. Though.
I get it, but
but I watched it in spurts. I didn't watch it like all in one shot. I was like,
See, I think the 1st
I'll
time
sit
I
down,
watched
eat,
it,
and watch it. And then
yeah, I think the first time I watched it, I stopped it halfway through and came back to it.
Yeah. Well, first time I was laid in bed, so I just watched it the whole. Probably fell asleep a couple times, but yeah. Watched that, and then I watched Resident Evil: The Final Chapter.
When are we gonna pull Resident Evil?
You really do have a lot of time to kill, don't you?
No, not really. Those are the only 2 movies I did watch
Hmm.
this week. And then I've just played Diablo. That was about it.
I watched 2 episodes of It's Always Sunny today, and that's it.
Not even.
That's not even full 2 episodes. I just been playing video games in my free time. I was playing an ass load of Overwatch 2, and then I played. That's pretty much it. And then I played a shitload of Diablo the past couple days.
Yeah.
So I got up to level 22 today. Suck it. I didn't think I was gonna like that game. I was like, $70 for a fucking video game. I was like, it don't even look like a $70 video game. I'm like hearing good things about it. I'm like, it does look kind of cool. I'm like, I just don't know if it's $70 cool. I was like, fuck it, let's gamble this.
Diablo's
And I'm like playing. I'm like,
game.
holy shit, this is totally worth $70. This game is awesome.
Yeah, Diablo's always been a good game. Even back when first.
I'm not
came
big on
out.
dungeon crawlers, man, and I just got into it. I'm like, god damn, this game is fun.
I mean, the graphics in this one. And
Oh, they're fucking baller,
the
dude.
ragdoll effects.
Yeah, the fucking cutscenes, everything.
Yeah,
It looks good. It looks really good.
It's a good game.
Yeah, I'm digging it. Like, that's what I was gonna do. That's what I was doing before we ate dinner today.
Yeah.
I was trying to make up, trying to get everything printed out and everything. I'm like, I'm gonna play some Diablo.
I haven't had time to get back on it since Sunday.
I'm not gonna be able to play tomorrow, so unless, I don't know, I might be able to later.
I'll be on it probably
You're
tomorrow.
gonna be like this, but
Yeah, we're gonna be at a softball. We got a
got any
softball
more
game.
of that there Diablo.
Yeah, well, we got a softball game at 7:00, and I'm like, come on, let's hurry the fuck up. Whether you win or lose, I'm going home.
on, make
I'm gonna play
it
some
swing
fucking.
the bat.
Justin
Swing
just
the
walks
bat.
up to the umpire.
We lost. Let's go.
How did we lose? It
It was,
doesn't matter.
it was the second inning. I don't give a shit.
hand him a $5.
Don't tell him how.
You're out. You're out. You're out. I didn't even go yet.
I didn't even swing at it yet.
That wasn't even on deck yet.
One of mine get on home or get on first base. Safe. No, she's not. She's out. She's out. Let's
Justin
go.
just runs and tackles it off the base. Tagger,
Give me the ball.
Tripping his own players as they're running by.
Go.
Walking through grease in everybody's gloves. Look at you knocking shit over, man.
Throwing the baseball
Pick
bat.
up my picture. That was a bad idea to put that picture in front of her.
Yeah.
Let's take my legs out there. I already hit it for you.
He's gonna be on third. You're gonna be on third base telling your team to run when they're they're right there behind. No, just go, just go.
I'll make it.
No, I'm not that bad of a coach. Anyway, that's all we've watched this week. Oh, man. I say we get into this fucking movie here.
Let's talk about the movie.
We could.
All right.
Oh yeah, we haven't even started the movie yet.
No, I've got the plot synopsis and everything. I can
You
give
do?
you the page for it if you want it.
Oh, no, you're fine.
I
Either
got it
way.
right home.
I got one here too.
Well, then why did I wasted ink? Just use the paper.
I wasted ink. Just use the paper.
I mean, and I wrote this stuff down.
Well, there you go. I've got it for you.
I'll just do it all from here since you spent so much time and effort.
By printing
Aliens from 1986, directed by James Cameron. Ripley, played by Sigourney Weaver. Newt, played by Carrie Henn. Corporal Hicks by Michael Bean. Burke by
Bean.
Paul
Ben.
Reiser. Bishop by Lance. I was trying
Lance
to say. I was
Henriksen?
trying to say both names at the same time. Lance Henriksen, Private Hudson, Bill Paxton, Lieutenant. Did you write the whole cast?
I didn't write this. I just copied and pasted.
I only do 4 names: Lieutenant Gorman, William Hope, Private Vasquez, Jeanette Goldstein.
I figure we should at least go to Vasquez.
Well, I would have just brought her up
Vasquez.
to number 4. And
I didn't
been
feel like
done with
moving it.
Why are you
I
guys
was like-
saying
Done with
Vasquez? It's Vasquez. Vasquez.
Potato,
Whatever,
potato,
Eric,
man.
shut up.
Potato,
Shut up.
potato.
But you're giving me
Nobody
shit for saying
cares.
Ben.
Bean.
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 Decades
Bean.
after. Decades after surviving the Nostromo incident, Ellen Ripley is sent out to reestablish contact with a terraforming colony, but finds herself battling the alien queen and her offspring. Maybe give me my script beforehand next time.
Yeah, my bad. Well, I was gonna read it, but then you were like, "I got this," and I'm like, "Oh."
I thought I was supposed to do the synopsis so you didn't have to
you
read the
can.
whole
I
time.
just hand you the paper. I thought I'd be nice and print it out and read it and everything.
Quit arguing over
Do you want to
piece of
read
paper.
part of this? You can do that if you want.
Whatever you want. I
Uh,
just feel bad that you got to
And
read the
I can
whole time.
read something if you guys want.
you're very monotoned. We're not trying to make people fall asleep, Eric.
Well, I mean, we can play
have to
this
have some
later
life
for
to your voice.
him. Fuck that.
You don't even talk into the mic, so I can only imagine you'd be back here like.
My mic's right here. I'm just usually facing this way when I'm talking to you guys.
Mike's like, or Mike. Eric's like, fuck you guys, man.
fuck this shit. I'm going home.
Fucking done.
I quit.
Madison, do you want to read some?
Do you want me to?
Eric. Eric's like, God damn it. I'm just a useless piece of shit here, ain't I?
I'm just a fucking visual person, ain't I?
He's just here for his sexy good looks.
Yeah. Look at my sexy tits.
Yeah, I like them sexy titties.
The dad bod.
The
Yeah,
dad
the dad
bod.
bod.
Do you want to read, Eric?
I don't care. I was just trying to offer it for you guys.
Oh, no, we're good, man.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I
was
figured
throwing
me and
myself
Karen are
out there.
technically like the hosts, so
I don't want to put people to sleep now, damn it.
Karen, do you want 1.5 or 1 pages?
I don't care. I just feel bad that you have to read the whole time.
I'll tell you what, I'll read the first page and then you can read the page and a half.
Okay.
Does that sound cool?
I don't care.
I don't care
I
either.
really don't.
Good. Yeah, I do care, actually. I want you to do it.
Okay.
All right, well, I'll read the first part. and then-
You're gonna like stop in mid sentence, and I gotta take over.
Oh, good point.
Wait, no.
Oh, look, this one ends on a full sentence. Why don't you just take the rest of that one?
Fuck it, whatever. I don't care. All right. Oh, fuck.
I'll read
Jesus
the last
Christ.
sentence.
All right. So from here, there's going to be heavy spoilers. If you've never seen Aliens from 1986, do yourself a favor and go watch the movie because it is worth the watch. So,
Indeed.
oh
you
yeah,
haven't-
maybe we should do our recommends. Would we watch? We didn't even do that.
We're
of
killing it
course.
this week.
Eric, would you rewatch and would you recommend?
I'd recommend, yes. Rewatch. It may be in a long time. I won't rewatch it within the next year.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
All right.
I'd probably watch it again eventually.
Madison, what about you?
Yeah, I would rewatch and recommend. I'm gonna get Mikey to watch it because he's never seen it and or heard of it.
He needs to watch the first one first.
Yeah.
Well, duh.
Okay.
The toy.
Karen?
This is actually only my second time seeing Aliens.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
So, oh yeah, I'd rewatch and recommend.
Okay. I would also rewatch and recommend. I have rewatched this movie dozens of times.
And
Yeah.
I've seen this movie a
recommend it to
lot,
his
so
children.
I wouldn't say it's on the like scale of like how many times I've seen Terminator 2
Yeah.
because I couldn't even tell you how many times I've seen that movie. But it is on the scale of like, all right, I've seen Kill Bill probably 20 or 30 times, both of them. I bet this one is on that level of Kill
How
Bill.
many times did you watch Terminator 2?
I used to wear the cassette tape out or the videotape out when I was a kid. My mom hated Terminator 2 because of how much I
Oh yeah, I
watched it.
forgot you were a kid at one point in time.
Nope, I was born this way.
You're always old.
Tattoos and all. Facial hair came out with a full beard.
He was hatched.
Mhm.
Oh, he's like one of the face huggers. He just Mom!
Holy shit.
You're over here spawning demons.
Well, that makes sense. Everything makes sense to me now. All right, anyway, so from here, you heard that. That's a pretty strong recommend, I think. From here, let's go ahead and jump into that spoiler alert here. So if you haven't seen it, like I said, go check it out. We all recommend that you do.
She's
Madison-
embarrassed now.
Madison's hyperventilating.
Are you okay?
Part of herself. She killed a part of herself already.
What's in that milk?
Okay. Breathe. Breathe. Oh
I
my
would like to
God.
start this today.
You can go ahead.
Technical difficulties.
Are you good? She looks high as fuck.
Mm-hmm. Oh my.
I think somebody got into the gummies.
Where are they at?
Where you?
I want to be on
That's
your
what
level.
those lifesavers were.
Oh.
They were laced.
Joseph.
I'm glad I didn't eat it.
Crap, we're all gonna be tripping soon.
I had 2.
Oh God!
You don't feel it yet?
Eric's going down.
I must have a high tolerance.
I'm okay now.
Cool. Okay. All right. So anyway, let's get into this. Heavy spoilers. Following the incident aboard the Nostromo, sole survivor Ellen Ripley is rescued.
What are they doing?
I don't know. Shut up. Jesus. Are you good? All right. Sole survivor Ellen Ripley. Jesus, man. Is rescued from her drifting shuttle by a deep salvage vessel and sent to recuperate at Gateway Station. Sounds like a gas station.
It does, don't it?
Yeah. Upon waking,
Gateway? You say Gateway?
Gateway Station. I
Oh
don't know.
man, that everything that ends with Gateway is always bad.
Yeah.
Typically.
I mean,
Upon waking, she is devastated to learn she has been adrift in space for 57 years. At an inquest, what? At an inquest before a panel,
That was where she went in front of those people and they blamed her for everything.
right?
Yeah.
What was they said? Inquest.
Yeah, it's an inquest. It's essentially because it's within their company. It's not like at an outer court or whatever. It's called an inquest because it's in.
Oh, okay. New word for me today. That's cool. At an inquest before a panel of executives, her testimony regarding the alien and its role in the destruction of the Nostromo is met with extreme skepticism, as no physical evidence of the creature has been found. Ripley loses her space flight license and learns that the LV-426, which is the planet, the planetoid where her crew first encountered the alien eggs, is now home to a terraforming colony. So, I don't know what version you guys watched. I mean,
Special.
we've
edition.
watched the special edition.
I watched one on Stars. Wasn't special.
It wasn't special.
It
It wasn't special. It was
edition.
very normal.
Was it the theatrical version?
Yeah.
Did
Yeah,
you see the
it would've
scene
been.
where they present, like, they show her a picture of her daughter and all that?
Well, no.
No, okay, that's in the special
Yeah,
edition.
special edition. You see stuff.
You see things.
You see things that make it make more sense.
Yeah, because she
That's
had a
probably
daughter.
why I got like a low rating on it.
Yeah, she had a daughter in the first one, and in this one it explains how her daughter grew to be 66,
66.
which isn't very old.
Mm-mm.
She's only 66 and passed away 2 years before she woke up. And
That's sad.
yeah, I was like, God damn, that sucks, dude.
Yeah.
But anyway,
She better watch out if her daughter dies. It might be genetic.
right. You notice how like Paul Rudd's, or not Paul Rudd. Yeah,
He wasn't in this movie, so you know that one guy's giving it 1 star.
he's giving it a 1 star. Paul Rudd wasn't in it.
Yep.
What was his name? Burke. Was it Burke?
Burke.
Burke.
Paul
Burke.
Reiser.
Paul Reiser, Burke. He was supposed to be defending her in that court in that whole thing and didn't say a fucking word.
Well, I mean, he shows his true colors
It's
later.
right later on.
He's a
Yeah.
piece of shit anyway.
At first, though, he comes off to be a pretty decent character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't put it in the trivia because I just kind of wanted to say it at some point since we're talking about since he sucks. But like, his sister actually like slapped him at the premiere when they were watching the premiere together because he was such a shit. And then when his mom finally saw the movie, she clapped when he died.
Really?
Like,
Because
That bad?
they hated
Because they hated
his
him in the
character
movie?
so much.
Wow.
Yeah.
Smacked it. Like, you know, it's a movie, right? Like,
Yeah, like he took his sister to the premiere because he was, he's proud, and she slapped him
Damn.
like when they were watching the movie, and then when his mom finally got to see the movie, she clapped when he died.
it's fucking great. That's when you know you gave a good performance.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Sometime later, Ripley is visited by Carter Burke, which is Paul Reiser's character, a representative from her former employer Wayland Yutani, and Lieutenant Gorman of the Colonial Marines, who inform her that contact has been lost with the colony on LV-426. The company instead intends to dispatch Burke and a unit of Marines to investigate and offers to restore Ripley's flight status and pick up her contract if she will accompany them as a consultant. Traumatized by her previous encounter with the alien, Ripley initially refuses to become involved, but changes her mind when Burke assures her there will be no attempt to study the xenomorphs and that any creatures that they encounter will be destroyed.
That's what they're calling the alien xenomorphs.
That's what they're called, is a xenomorph, yeah.
Did they say that in the movie?
They do it in this one, but I guess they didn't in the first
No,
one.
not in the first
I know they do in this one.
Lieutenant Gorman, the first time that they're said is when Lieutenant Gorman is addressing the troops on, is it the drop ship or is it before they get, I think it's before they get on the drop ship. He calls them
It's on the main
xenomorphs.
vessel or whatever. They're on the main ship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he calls them xenomorphs before they get on the drop ship. And I don't understand how they can already have a name when everybody says they don't exist and they need Ripley to go
I
up.
explained
Maybe
it. You
that's
don't
just
believe
what
me.
like you know how military has funky names for everything. Maybe that was just one of their funky names.
Maybe, but it's a little... xenomorph is too technical of a name for something that they don't believe exists. Because any other way, they would just call it an alien.
Yeah, and then the next
Or the
movies,
creature or the specimen
Yeah,
or
like the
whatever.
next movies, it's even like a scientific name. Like they use
Oh,
it
is it?
scientifically
They
or
use
whatever.
it throughout
Yeah,
the whole
yeah,
franchise?
yeah. So it just kind of
Doesn't make sense.
doesn't make sense to me.
We'll get there, though. Aboard the warship Sulaco, Ripley is introduced to the... Ripley is introduced to the Colonial Marines Colonel? Colonial.
This isn't
Colonial
the
Marines.
version that we watched. Is it's the theatrical? Because it didn't say anything about Newt's parents.
It does sound like it's the theatrical.
Yeah, I guess you're right, because it did skip. This just skipped the entire scene, all the scenes and stuff on the planet before they're
Mhm.
attacked. Because I know that in this one, did you watch the scene where Newt's parents were? Well, her dad had a face hugger on him. Did
No,
you see
because
that?
that's where because remember when I talked about Lieutenant Gorman calling them xenomorphs, he
Yeah.
thought that they already knew about the aliens because they were studying them. He thought that they were
Oh,
already studying.
I gotcha. Okay.
Newt's parents actually found the ship.
hmm
They show this scene in the special edition.
Yeah.
Newt's parents come upon the ship, just come upon it,
Mhm.
and they go on it to like investigate it,
Which-
and then the
I
parents
don't
come back
understand
and the
this
dad
because
has a face hugger on his face.
I think that one plot hole I never understood about this is like, you've been on this planet for 20 years colonizing it, and you never saw the ship?
The
And,
only thing I
like-
can say about that is he said something about whatever those things are called that creates the atmosphere so they can breathe, and it takes so much time to build it up that you can only like they had
Venture out
zones.
so far. But even then, you're telling me that they went onto a planet they didn't like completely like surface map? Like, you're telling me they don't have satellites or
I
anything
mean,
like mapping out the entire surface of that
Wayland
planet?
Yutani seems like a really responsible company to do their homework before sending people up there.
Yeah.
I
On their
understand
stuff.
why you would be concerned, but
On their stuff, their motto is building better worlds. But
I can't even finish the thought.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, did I start talking?
Well, no, because she was laughing she was making a joke.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they are the company's main goal is to find out what's going on that ship because that's why they sent.
Yeah, but that's not why they would
The
put an
first
entire
one-
colony on it.
Well,
Well,
and
I don't
here's the
know.
thing.
I would imagine that's why they're doing that.
57 years ago, 57 years later, let's say, all of the people that would have known about what happened on Nostromo would be dead,
Mm-hmm.
and they wouldn't be able to be held accountable for what happened.
Hmm.
So, what they could have done and probably did do on paper is covered their ass. So anything about that was taken care of. That's why nobody knows that these things exist. But meanwhile, they pushed for colonists and things to go there, knowing what would eventually happen.
Yep. I think that I don't know. There's some
There's
plot
a lot of
holes.
loopholes.
there's a lot of plot holes in this movie, and that was one of them. Like, you're like, I just don't understand how they could be on a planet that had a giant spacecraft on it they never saw. You know, it just didn't make any sense to me.
Especially
But
for 20
The
years.
only the
Yeah.
only thing I can say or that I thought it was what he said about how it takes so much time to build up.
maybe, but even then, like I said, they're gonna surface map that entire planet before they even land on it, before they do anything.
They have to.
I know
Would
you
they,
think, yeah,
though?
well, they would, because they're not going to invest all that money into something that's just going to be,
killing them or ending the world.
yeah,
I don't think in that maybe they would other planets, but if you've got the shadow guys in the background pushing
for the
for
xenomorph.
that specific planet, I don't think they would.
Maybe that's the only thing that I could reasonably say. Maybe they were just waiting and biding their time.
They knew
until
what was already on.
until
that.
they
knew it.
discovered that alien species. But even then, like,
They
you're
had
looking
to,
at a
they had to
distri-
make it look like a mistake.
I
you know
guess,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I suppose so. That's the
So-
only thing I could,
He
you know,
supposes so.
yeah, fucking jackass. All right. Anyway, hold on. Let me find my spot here. Okay. Aboard the warship Sulaco, Ripley is introduced to the Colonial Marine Squad, including Sergeant Apone, Colonel Hicks, and Privates Vasquez and Hudson. Hudson, man.
Is Hudson your favorite?
That'd be Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
She also meets the team's android Bishop, toward whom she is openly hostile due to her experiences with the murderous Ash aboard the Nostromo. So I fucking love Lance Hendrickson in this movie.
Yes. I love him in every movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say I love him in everything. I just love that, like, they cast. So whenever they did, I don't know if anybody here has seen Near Dark. I mean, I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
But like, they cast like 3 people from this movie for Near Dark.
hmm
The girl who plays Vasquez, and then Bill Paxton and Lance Hendrickson were all in Near Dark. If you haven't seen Near Dark, man, such a
Girl
good
with
movie.
the short hair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wasn't
that's
there
good.
still like only 3 chicks this time?
If you include
The
new,
pilot,
there was
There's new.
then
four.
pilot,
That's
yeah.
a little girl though.
Oh
I mean,
well,
like-
yeah, and the pilot
Yeah.
that lived for like 2 seconds. That's 5.
Yeah, but you're
I'm glad
you're
that
talking
they
about
have-
a squad of Marines, though.
Yeah, no, I'm not done. Anyways. Like in the last movie, I know we were complaining about how the only other chick didn't really play any big role.
Yeah, but in this one, like Vasquez, because like one thing that
Not
like
done.
okay,
I'm glad the other chick actually got a bigger role in it. She stayed longer. She had more to. She was an idiot, but
which one?
Huh.
The
the girl with
pilot,
the short hair.
the pilot. Yeah, but Vasquez is like, she's a badass in this.
Yeah.
Because one thing that James Cameron does is he loves making female leads, like strong female leads.
He does.
He loves doing that. So like, and I think, well, Ripley was already there. She was already a strong female lead. Well, then he put in Vasquez, which was even, she was like this, like, do it to the balls to the wall, fucking badass, and that was her whole role. Honestly, I wouldn't have been
Yeah,
surprised.
she just
I wouldn't have been
listened.
surprised if she would have survived the whole thing instead of Hicks, because she was that other strong female lead.
I think that, believe it or not, everybody kind of gives Sigourney Weaver all this credit for who Ripley is. I would throw it more at James Cameron, having
for sure. Yeah,
recently
yeah.
just watched Alien, and then watching this, and seeing this kind of.
She's much stronger in this one.
She's much stronger in this one, but you also see who she used to be, right, in the first one. But in this one, there's just something a little different about her that carries on into the other movies that wasn't there in the first one.
She's definitely
she's
more of a powerful presence.
Yes,
and,
more
yeah.
yeah, exactly, a
So,
more powerful
yeah.
presence. Yes,
And I definitely agree with that. Yeah,
More
I
of
see
a
it.
veteran.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
she's after pretty much this movie and beyond. She's that character who's like, I've seen some shit.
yes.
So
yes.
and she's stronger because of it.
yeah, and it's
So.
because what James Cameron brought that to this character,
For sure,
in my
yeah.
opinion.
And I love that. Like I don't get me wrong. James Cameron is by far not one of the great. He's a good director, but he's not the greatest director.
Yeah.
But a lot of people would disagree with me, and I don't give a shit. But he's not the greatest director. He does good action flicks. That's it. But one thing I do love about him is of all of his strong female leads. Like, he's always got a very strong female lead that
Yeah.
doesn't rely on a man. I mean, at least for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, like look at the first 2 Terminator movies. Sarah Connor was sufficient on her own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially in the second one.
Yeah.
So, like, you got to love that about him. And I do.
Mhm.
I love it about him. Let's see here. Where was I? Okay. So, reaching LV 426, the heavily armed expedition descends to the surface via dropship where they find the colony damaged and seemingly abandoned. 2 living xenomorph facehuggers are found in containment tanks in the medical lab, but the only colonist encountered is a traumatized young girl nicknamed Newt. All right.
Why did they nickname her Newt, by the way?
That's just
That's
that
what
was
she
her
called
name.
herself.
She said everybody calls her Newt except for her little brother who
Yeah,
called her
why?
Rebecca.
Yeah.
That's just her name. Oh, probably because she was always crawling through like air shafts. Because like I know you didn't watch this one, but like we watched the special version where she was crawling through, like they were bitching at her for always crawling through the air vents and the air, like and all that stuff. But in the end, that's what saves her because she hides in them.
In a deleted scene, I think her and her brother called it Monster Maze. It was a game. They would crawl through the vents and they called it Monster Maze.
Yeah. Which, honestly, if I had to recommend which one you watch, I would say watch the special edition because it's adding some more information that wasn't in the theatrical version.
Mm-hmm.
So, like that, you know, what kind of gives you a little bit of what was going on with the colony before the destruction. And you see a little bit about you hear more about what happened with Ripley's daughter, and in my opinion, more backstory and more information given is always a good thing.
And you really, really get to understand why Ripley was the way she was with Newt.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
that motherly
of what,
instinct.
Yeah, you know, why it kicks in so fiercely.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
theatrical version, you don't see how Newt and Ripley meet.
No, you see that, but you don't see Newt with her family
Yeah.
and that whole segment with like all the colonists being alive. You don't see any of that in the.
Yeah, without that,
And
I
you
just
don't
think she was
see-
some random girl that's been living
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
and
you-
also, like you don't see Ripley
with her daughter.
with like
her daughter's
looking at the
picture.
her daughter's picture and all that stuff in that room that she was sitting in.
Mhm.
Yeah, you don't see that.
So you've got that mutual thing going on where, you know, Ripley's missing her daughter and Newt's missing her parents. So there's just like that instant
Yeah,
bond between the two of them
Exactly.
happening. And, you know, as the audience, if you didn't see those two things happen, you might go, why are they so fierce for each other? You know what I
right.
mean?
Exactly. Don't get me
Well, I
wrong.
can-
I
How'd you
mean,
feel,
even
Eric?
even if it wasn't a, you know, you didn't see that bond that because of the other things,
Mhm.
you're still going to look at it as she's going to have this motherly instinct.
Sure, yeah.
Or even as an adult, I mean, you're going to see a child that's in need and in need of care.
Mhm.
You're going to jump for it.
yeah,
Sure.
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. It's just kind of like it gives that another level of it, I guess. Another level to it that you didn't have before.
I guess.
Little background.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that there's something to be said about that.
Yeah, I mean,
And we're gonna get to the end of this,
we'll come back to all of our notes.
yeah,
and stuff,
because
but-
there's things about this movie, not about this movie, but like the follow-up movie that really
Yeah.
pissed me
Irks your
off.
nerve.
Yeah.
Really pissed me off.
Yeah.
Okay, so reaching LV 426, the heavily armed expedition descends to the surface via dropship, where they find the colony damaged and seemingly abandoned. 2 living xenomorph, I already read all this, 2 facehuggers are found in containment tanks in the medical lab, but the only colonist encountered is a traumatized young girl nicknamed Newt. The Marines determined that the rest of the colonists are clustered in the nearby atmosphere processing station. Investigating, they find a large nest filled with the bodies of the colonists who have been cocooned to the walls and used as hosts for the xenomorphs. So, okay, let me read this next part first and we can talk some more. The creatures attack, killing or capturing most of the unit. Ripley commandeers the group's APC and is able to rescue Hicks, Vasquez, and Hudson. With Gorman knocked unconscious during the rescue, Hicks assumes command and orders the dropship to recover the survivors, intending to return to the Sulaco and destroy the colony site from orbit. So this scene would have been way cooler if it wasn't so shaky and poorly filmed.
Yeah.
So, because I remember this scene being fucking awesome, and I haven't seen this movie in a few years, and watching it now, and I'm like, this scene used to be so like I remember it being better, and it's not better. It's like worse watching it this time because I'm like trying to watch all the action going on, and it's so clustered and everything's so zoomed up, and it's so
Where they're all
shaky,
getting
and it's
attacked.
so foggy. And I understand the foggy thing, but like I couldn't like I hated it. I was like I don't like this.
You know, I didn't notice it at the time, but you're right.
Yeah, I don't care for all the shakiness. Like James Cameron was supposed to be known for making these great action movies, but this is probably one of the worst action scenes I've ever known him to film. I don't like it, and it's shaky. You don't even know who the fuck dies and how they die or anything because they don't show most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's all well, I understand the foggy and all that shit, but like I didn't like it, and this is probably one of the things that's really going to ding the movie for me because it's supposed to be known for this like action horror aspect, and so a lot of the action in this movie is not that great,
Yeah.
and there's really not a lot of it, like not as much as I remember there being. I remember it being more action heavy, and it's really not. Like there's don't get me wrong, there is action in this movie, but not as much as I thought, and also like it's very choppy and just shaky, and it's not well filmed. You know, I don't know if that's in part of
I only
the
really
director.
noticed it in that scene.
I know the fourth
think.
Aliens is like the ones that's like everybody hates, but I think that one had more action than this one did.
I
Yeah,
haven't seen
probably.
the fourth one in a long
Yeah,
time.
but in this one, like not only in that scene, but also in the scene where they're in the room and they have the door welded shut and they're coming in through the vents. They come in
Yeah.
through the top and everything. That scene was also very choppy and shaky, and a lot of it was
You
shot
didn't
up
really see a
close.
whole lot of
And you don't see a
going
lot
on.
of the action. You barely see the xenomorphs in this movie. There's
So
supposed to be hundreds of fucking xenomorphs, and you barely see them. Like at first, you see them at first, like
crawling
up and stuff. But that's about all you see. Like
The
at
most-
a time, you probably only see like 3 or 4.
The most
really
action
liked-
you seen was like right before Hudson got taken down into the taken down. You see them shooting and like going off.
Yeah,
ham
and that's
on it.
about it.
The most you've seen.
I really liked that scene though, where they were, coming up
Crawling
and
through.
Oh, that scene was
That
awesome.
that-
I love that
yeah.
part. But that's what I'm saying. Like in this movie, I remember it being like you saw a lot more of the xenomorphs. Like don't get me wrong, they look a lot different in this movie than they did in the first one. Like they're not like I remember in the first one, like even the elongated head was smooth and slimy, shiny looking. Whereas in this one, they're like it's very dull and it's kind of like bony looking more. Things like that. They give it more. That's probably one thing I liked more about the first one.
the explanation for that is that the alien in Alien was only hours old, whereas these have been able to mature. So these are older.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, that kind of makes sense, I guess.
Mhm.
But anyway,
Is that in trivia?
Yeah.
That's
I don't remember if I put it in there or not, but
I'm glad
I
you told
found
me.
it interesting.
Yeah, I'm glad you
Yeah.
told me. Anyway,
That's why I said it, because I couldn't remember if I put it in there or not.
stranded, the survivors barricade themselves inside the colony complex. Ripley discovers that Burke unintentionally triggered the destruction of the settlement when he ordered the colonists to investigate the derelict spaceship where the Nostromo crew first encountered the xenomorph eggs. Acting on the testimony she gave after being rescued. Confronting him, Burke reveals that he hopes to return xenomorph specimens to the company laboratories where he can profit from their research. Ripley threatens to expose him, but Bishop soon informs the group of a greater danger. The damaged atmosphere processor has become unstable and will soon detonate with the force of a thermonuclear weapon. He volunteers to use the colony's transmitter to pilot the Sulaco's remaining dropship to the surface by remote control so that the group can escape. It's a pretty good plot point, though. Like after Bishop goes into that tunnel, like you don't hear from him for a while, and then it just shows him like literally like controlling this dropship from their ship in space down to them, which is pretty badass, honestly.
Dude, I had so much claustrophobia
Fuck
watching him in
yeah.
that fucking pipe.
Oh, I know. He got inside that pop. I was like,
And then they started welding, and
yeah,
I'm
like
No.
no,
only a
no.
robot could do that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, even if they did it well, then no. Like you could just
Yeah, looking in there, I'm like,
no.
nope. Not me.
He's
Well,
doing
Lan-
this
you know
number
Lance
to crawl.
Hendrickson, man. He'll do anything for a good movie role. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, not me. I don't think I could do that.
Nope. Nope.
That's
That
a little
was
too
way
tight
too
for me.
tight.
None of those things really attacked him. Like, tried to eat his face was because he was.
Well, he was also not on
wasn't-
camera a lot. He wasn't
Well-
near them a lot. Like usually, whenever the danger was coming, he was like somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they were, and they probably knew that they weren't going to be able to actually impregnate him.
Yeah,
with
he was.
something.
He wasn't.
Yeah, I
gonna
think
be a
that's
good
what she was
host.
asking.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
he's because he's not a human. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
they,
sure-
they
I'm
could
sure
they could
they can
almost
smell
sense
you.
maybe
That's why he
that,
was-
yeah.
Yeah, because he's not organic. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so
Those are scientific terms, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's all I had.
Okay, my turn.
Yep.
As they
germs.
await the dropship's arrival, Ripley and Newt fall asleep in the medical lab, waking to find themselves locked in the room with the two-faced huckers, which have been released from their tanks. Ripley is able to alert the Marines, who rescue them and kill the creatures. Ripley accuses Burke of being responsible, suggesting he was attempting to have her and Newt impregnated so that he could smuggle the implanted xenomorph
Especially since one of them's 9.
yeah.
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 Embryos past Earth's quarantine. The Marines elect to execute Burke for his treachery, but before they can act, the electricity is suddenly cut off and multiple xenomorphs attack through the ceiling. Gorman, Hudson, Vasquez, and Burke are killed or captured during the battle. Ripley and Hicks briefly manage to escape with Newt, but the little girl is taken away when they encounter more xenomorphs, while Hicks is seriously wounded. Ripley gets Hicks to the second dropship, but refuses to leave Newt behind. She assembles a pulse rifle / flamethrower combination weapon before heading into the hive in the processing station to rescue Newt. She finds her before she can be impregnated, but the two then encounter the huge xenomorph queen in her egg chamber. Ripley destroys the eggs, enraging the queen, who tears herself loose from her enormous ovipositor and gives chase through the failing processor station. Ripley and Newt rendezvous with Bishop and Hicks in the dropship and escape moments before the colony is consumed by the nuclear blast. Back on the Sulaco? Is that how it's
Sulaco.
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 Ripley and Bishop's relief at their narrow escape is interrupted when the xenomorph queen, stowed away in the dropship's landing gear, impales Bishop and tears him in half. The queen advances on Newt, but Ripley intervenes and battles her using an exosuit cargo loader. The two of them tumble into a large airlock which Ripley then opens, expelling the queen into space. Ripley barely clambers to safety, while Bishop saves Newt from being sucked out after the queen, earning Ripley's admiration. Afterward, Ripley helps Hicks and Bishop into hypersleep before she and Newt bed down for the return journey to Earth.
I blame Bishop's
The
death
end.
And you sped right through that
Yeah,
shit.
I
You're like,
blame-
nobody's interrupted me. I'm getting through
I'm
it.
going!
I blame Bishop's death on Ripley. She should have seen that one coming. I mean, it happened the first time. Who's to say it wouldn't happen the second time?
Right.
Bishop didn't die, though.
No.
I mean, like him getting ripped in half. I blame that on her.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna go. Let's go through some notes here.
All right.
So the first one I have is like especially like you didn't watch the special edition, but the scenes with them on the planet, like driving those machines around, dude, totally Terminator vibes.
Oh, absolutely.
Terminator vibes,
Absolutely,
100%.
I agree.
So like I was like Terminator. I was like, these vehicles, the landmass, everything looks like
Even the sounds.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mine, I got like three actors in here that's came across Predators, Aliens, and Terminators.
I only know Bo Paxton.
No, Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton,
died by all
Vasquez.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he
Yeah.
died by all three, yeah.
Vasquez.
Yeah, she was the mom.
foster
in,
mom in
She was
Terminator
the foster
2.
mom in Terminator
Okay,
2.
so she died by alien.
By a
and
T1.
and a
Spoiler
Terminator.
alert.
You got Hicks
Yeah, but-
Hicks.
But
And
he's
then-
only two, not all three.
and then Bishop.
Yeah. Well, no, he's only faced.
Two.
No, Bishop. He died in Aliens vs Predators by the Predator.
That doesn't count.
That doesn't count. Come on.
That doesn't count. The
It's still-
crossovers don't count in either.
hey, he got killed by a Predator.
Wait, what about Hicks? Yeah, Hicks didn't fight the Predator. I thought
Yeah,
you were just
that's what
talking
I
about.
say.
No, but Hicks. Not. I didn't say all three. I say they.
Well,
There are
yeah, I
three
mean, there's a
that's
lot
came
of crossovers.
you know.
Yeah.
And Hicks, he got killed by a Terminator, but survived an alien. You got Bishop that's died by a predator and an alien. You got Hudson was killed by all three. And then
Poor Bill Paxton.
Vasquez died by two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think of who else.
How did Bill Paxton die in this movie again?
He got taken down through the floor by the aliens.
Yeah.
They killed him.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think that's it, as far as I can remember. Anyway,
I like how he plays Bishop in both this one, and he played Bishop again in Aliens vs. Predator.
Well, no, he played Wayland, didn't he? I thought he played Wayland.
Nope, Bishop.
I've never seen
I looked
Aliens
it
vs.
up.
Predator.
I could have swore he played Wayland or something like that. He was like the company owner. Or no, that was Alien 3, wasn't it? Where he came in, where...
I haven't seen 3
I
in
don't
so
remember.
long.
Let's see, where's the
Do you want to joke while we're waiting?
What?
You want to joke while we're waiting for him to find whatever is on his phone?
Sure, Madison. What's your joke?
Okay, so in the first movie, you know how the acid didn't really kill anybody or harm anybody?
Hmm.
I'm glad that in this one, it had such a killer role.
Lance Henriksen, Bishop. Aliens
Jesus
vs. Predator
Christ.
cast. Okay. Lance Henriksen, Bishop, Aliens vs. Predator cast.
Oh, well, maybe I'm thinking of him in... Maybe he played Wayland in the third one.
You may be.
Because he was in the third one.
I have only seen the third one, I think, even once.
I think I've seen it twice, and both times I hated it.
Yeah.
So
I think that's why I've only seen it once.
maybe I need to go back and rewatch it this
Was he
time
playing-
with a reviewing eye. So
Could he have been playing Wayland in, what the hell is that one called? Where they go back and like show the creator.
no, because he was played by Wayland was played by damn it, I can't remember his name. He was in Memento.
Okay.
I can't remember his name. He was in Memento. You know what I'm
There's a lot
talking
of people in
the main
Now,
character.
Oh.
his name could be Bishop Wayland in
Okay.
Alien vs. Predator, but his cast says Bishop.
I don't remember.
Oh, I don't know then. Anyway, let's move on. I said Burke is a fucker.
Burke is a
I
fucker.
said Burke is a piece of shit.
Okay, so whenever Newt falls down into the water or down into the air system, and she's got the jacket on, why the fuck didn't you just stay in the jacket? Like they had a hold of her, she's like, "Oh, and I fell out of the jacket,"
Because they needed her.
and I'm like, "Dude, just grab the jacket. Why are you? What? You're not even fucking sliding down that
if
fast."
she didn't fall down, then they wouldn't have had a plot point to go and get her.
Still, that
It
was
would-
very poorly executed.
I understand.
She's like,
the jacket could have at
"Oh."
least ripped.
She's 9 and she hasn't ate in a while, so she's probably pretty like muscle.
No?
Yeah, but she literally went like this instead of like keeping her arms down like she should have. She just went, "Whoops, gotta come get me." Fucking idiot.
Okay, so this was my biggest problem at the very beginning, though. We kind of talked about it, but Lieutenant Gorman calls them xenomorphs when he's telling them about the mission. So they don't exist per the company, but they gave them a name. Like, they have to have Ripley go up there and tell them about these aliens because she knows the most about them and all of that.
Well, just saying what it comes back to is they might have known that the xenomorphs were there because
I'm saying
Of the
nobody called them out on
terraforming.
their
Okay.
bullshit.
So here's
Right, I
here's,
get
here's
that.
another way. Here's another way. So after that meeting that they had, maybe the company came up with a name for the alien to call them that when they encounter. If they
yeah, but they
encounter
definitely negated it. It was like, no, these don't exist.
I
Like
know,
you're
but
making shit up.
I'm saying
Well, no-
maybe they came up with well, we'll give it a name just in case they come across it. So that way they have something to call it when they.
The only thing that they knew
Encounter.
was that the colonists, that they had lost communication with the colonists, but it had happened before. They even said that there was satellites that went down and it had happened before.
Okay, but what I'm saying is after they had that meeting, they came up with a name for that alien just in case they encountered it.
That's weak. I'm just saying. That's weak.
There's a few weak things about
if
this.
if I was Sigourney Weaver, if I was Ellen Ripley and I'm sitting there and he said xenomorphs, I'd be like, "Excuse me?
What are they called?
Yeah.
Did
What
you
was that?
call
Yeah. What
They
was
have
that?
a name, but
They
I
have a
lost my
name?
license,
Yeah, they
and
have
I'm
a-
here to get my license
So this
back.
thing that
but they have a name.
doesn't exist that I lost my license over has a fucking name,
Yeah.
but I don't have a job.
Now I'm here to get my job back. What was that? Can we roll the tape back?
Yeah. Oh shit, where was I? I was gonna say something here. Hold on.
Oh, there was one scene I was kind of struck by. When they find the face huggers in the medical lab, when they first get there and they first see them, and Ripley's standing in the doorway and she's kind of leaning into the doorway, and you can kind of see like she's just kind of horrified, like she's got this just terrified, horrified look on her face, and Hicks kind of barely touches her arm, just very gracefully barely touches her arm, just to let her know he's there because he knows that she's terrified, you know. And he just barely grazes her arm, but that barely graze just
Set her off.
She just almost comes out of her skin. But at the same time, she's comforted by his presence. And you could see all of that happening between the two of them with no words spoken at all. I just really liked
Did
the
they get
scene.
together in the second one?
We don't need to talk about
Or
that
the
right
third
now.
one?
We'll come to that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I really liked that scene. I thought it was beautiful.
The scene with between her and the Queen was pretty awesome. So like the
Yeah.
part where she's like standing there and she's like walking back, it was one of those like old west who draws
Like,
first
do it.
moments.
Mhm.
Like if you do it, I'm gonna do it. Just saying,
Mhm.
like don't make a move.
Mm-hmm.
And she makes that move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I love that scene. That part was so cool to me.
Absolutely.
The Queen is like badass though. I love seeing the Queen in this. Like the part where like the whole. The one thing I do. Okay, so obviously they were setting up that she can run these like she can pilot these stupid mech suits or whatever, which obviously have a lot to do with what they look like in Avatar because they look so similar.
Yeah.
So in this though, like whenever she gets in it and like it's like set up and ready to go, she goes, "Where do you want it?" I'm just kind of like, gay, because I'm like, you're telling me that nobody can run these? You have to be licensed to do this? Like these things look simple as fuck. Like you literally walk like a mech suit, and you like it's got controls like a forklift. Can't be that hard. I've driven forklifts before. It takes about 2 minutes to learn. So
well, if I learned anything about futuristic movies, is that blue collar is the new smart in the future.
True, but also like the giggling between Hicks and his like.
I thought that was so
they're like,
ridiculous.
yeah,
Yeah, I was like, why are they laughing
yeah,
about that?
like it's so like oh my god, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
She's a girl though,
but she's
like,
a girl.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, how fucking dumb. And it was the only time you see Hicks really laugh, and it was so weird and just
Yeah,
it was awkward.
I agree.
It's awkward. I just didn't like that scene. I'm like, how dumb and cheesy.
Why are the coffee cups so small? Did anybody? I don't know. That
They
bothered
were
me.
really tiny.
They were very
They were like
tiny.
small, like that big.
Every time somebody would walk in, I'm like, why are they
They're
small?
espressos.
They're little.
They were like this tall.
Yeah,
Like that tall.
they're
I'm
like baby
what-
cups.
They're like 3
What's-
inches
what's
tall.
that,
Not even.
This comedian guy, I can't remember. Fluffy talks about
Oh.
when he got a shot
of espresso.
from espresso from like a Colombian shot. It's like this big. He's like, that's not gonna do anything for me. He's like, they told him. He's like, I want a full coffee cup with it. He's like, that was the worst mistake I ever made. So maybe those little coffee cups are the espressos from Colombia.
Maybe it's just very tiny.
So, did anybody else notice that like James Cameron really likes his lightning effects?
Yeah, yeah. In this movie, yeah. Well,
Because
in
you see him in
Terminator,
both the
yeah.
Terminator movies, and then you
Yeah.
see him in this movie, and they're like just electricity randomly running up walls,
Well,
and I'm
maybe-
like, why?
Maybe that was his Michael Bay era instead of
Maybe yeah, like that
explosions,
was
it
his thing. Like
yeah.
if it ain't got electrical effects in it, it's not
Yeah.
a James Cameron.
yeah, I
movie.
gotta have that.
Yeah, I gotta have some electrical effects.
Did you notice the acid, like one dude when they're getting into that APC,
Yeah,
when they're all getting into the APC and that acid gets on that guy's face? The practical effects on that one was pretty good.
that was pretty good, and it sucks you don't get to see more of that. Like
Yeah,
like you got to appreciate the practical effects, but you also are like, but I want to see more. Like, don't just like show it for a split second and then cut away. Like,
Yeah.
show more of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's already an R rating, dude. Let's see it.
Yeah.
I want to see it eat his fucking face.
Yeah.
You know, so
So, like in the scene where they were taking all of their rounds and everything, he takes all of the rounds and everything, and you know, tells Vasquez, you know, sternly, give it to me. But then, like, her and him are walking around like their guns are still loaded, as if they're still loaded, and
They are.
I know they are,
Huh.
but they're not supposed to be.
right,
Like, if my gun isn't loaded
not
anymore,
gonna
I'm
make it
not
look-
going to be like,
holding it like it is loaded.
you know, and nobody's like, especially Apone isn't going, why are you holding your gun like that?
No,
you know?
I thought after they handed him the magazines, the dude like grabbed out more magazines. Was like, here, like take.
She
it back.
did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So they were walking around with them loaded, even though they weren't supposed to be loaded.
I didn't understand the
Oh,
magazines. Like, how do those work? Because they're like these, like,
Those were like pulse.
were they?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
those were like pulse.
So there was like some kind of pulse generator or
yeah,
something.
or something like that.
Okay, that makes sense. Because
Yeah.
I was like, is it shooting rounds? What the fuck?
I don't know.
So the part, like, back to the practical effects
Looked
thing,
like a lawnmower.
that part where Bishop gets ripped
thing.
in half, dude, is fucking baller.
That yes, I think I
that
did.
practical
I,
effect is so cool.
I think I put in here how they did it because I was like floored by it.
yeah, like the way like she rips him in half, like picks him up and everything, and like just see his body go flying. You're like, dude, if only that was a real
Amazing.
person instead of a robot.
I want to see the
I
gore.
want to see the gore, man. Like it was really cool.
You,
though.
you seen the creamy chicken Alfredo gore? That's pretty much what it looked like.
That's what it. Yeah, it always looks like milk.
Yeah.
Pasta.
Milk, yeah, pasta.
Yeah.
Pasta and milk.
You're gonna ruin pasta for me forever.
Why wouldn't they tell them that they couldn't fire down there? Like why they
did
couldn't?
They tell them? Oh, why
because
did
then
they
maybe
tell
they
them?
wouldn't. Right.
Like why wouldn't they tell them why they couldn't?
Yeah, they were
Because-
like, why though?
Because that
Yeah.
colonel was a dumbass.
But yeah, I guess. But Ripley didn't tell him to, or nobody said like, why don't you tell him, or I don't know. I would tell him.
I really don't
Yeah,
know,
you
man.
would think
You know?
so, but
Yeah.
I mean, if I know that like I'm gonna blow this place into the next realm, if I fire this weapon, then I'm not going to. You know what I mean?
True, yeah.
Anyway.
That's all the notes that I have. Do you guys still got any?
Yeah, I got a few. So this really made me laugh while we were watching it. Jeremiah said that Elon Musk got his idea for the Cybertruck from the APC.
yeah, it kind of looked like.
That's yeah, it does. It doesn't. Yeah, the Cybertruck does look like
Before that thing went nuclear, I wrote down
Maybe Elon Musk is Waylon.
I mean,
Oh fuck!
Oh no, he
there's
is trying to
evidence
colonize
there.
Mars.
Yeah, there's plenty of evidence there.
There's a conspiracy.
Don't kill us.
I could see him being a huge Alien fan and like wearing a Wayland Yutani shirt, just for fun.
He should.
I wear a Wayland Yutani.
Yeah,
shirt
but you're
for
not a
this-
fucking
this time,
millionaire
not a
either.
billionaire
So
either,
with a
Elon,
lot of
you
money
should
and a
wear
lot
that
of tech.
shirt.
Yeah, how confident do you have to be in your tech to not bring suits? Like nothing is gonna, stop that thing from operating and making the air unbreathable.
Right.
Like even before it went nuclear, like what else could go wrong with it? Nobody is bringing suits ever. Like that's not a thing there.
I love that.
The
I love that
atmosphere's
this thing
that
is just-
good now. You don't-
I love that
you
this
don't
thing
need
just
it.
happens to be going nuclear as they get there.
Yeah, well, didn't they say something about it had something to do with the attack or something?
Oh, maybe, possibly.
There was a reason. I think I'm
might
pretty
not-
sure they
if
gave
it-
a
if they did, I
reason.
didn't catch it. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they gave it a reason. Their trust in elevators in this time just killed me. Nobody
Yeah.
trusts elevators when a fire alarm's going off. During a test, let alone like there's fire and brimstone everywhere,
Yeah.
and everybody's like, "Yeah,
The
we'll
planet
take
is-
the elevator."
Planet is literally about to explode, and you're like gonna hop on the
Yeah,
elevator.
I'll
Like,
take the elevator.
earthquakes and shit. Like, nah, we're good.
I already had my cardio today.
Did anybody else feel like the ending was a little bit on par with part one?
Yeah, like with the explosion,
Probably
get
my
out of there at
biggest
the
gripe.
time, and yeah,
The alien being on board with them.
And getting sucked through the airlock instead of another dying another
Right,
way for
yeah.
the
The
alien to
explosion
get-
behind you.
Yeah.
Then, oh wait, it's the queen is actually on the ship with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities there.
Mm-hmm. A few.
Yeah.
And then getting in the ship and peacefully going to sleep and waiting for someone to
the
find
next
you.
movie.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So this movie's cool until the end because you're like, if you've seen the third one, it pisses you off.
It does.
It
It
really
really,
does. It
really,
pisses
really,
you off.
really does.
I'm glad I've never seen it.
We're going to.
We're going to.
I'm glad I
Eventually.
haven't seen it yet. I'm not angry right now.
I'm not going to give anything away. We're not going to say anything about it, but it does piss you off. So that's everybody cover all their notes.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, cool. Let's get into rating this motherfucker.
Let's rock out this bitch.
Use.
I had a hangnail and now it's bleeding.
What'd you do that for?
I didn't
Oh.
mean to have a hangnail.
Let's start with Madison. Madison, what do you think about Aliens from 1986?
I liked it. It was you're right in a lot of ways. It had like the same effects as the Terminator and stuff. It reminded me a lot of the Terminator, the first one. But I liked it. I don't know what I rate it though. Not yet. I'm thinking in my mind as I'm talking. I'll give it a what did I rate the last one?
I don't know.
Well, I gotta rate it higher than that one.
The last movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
6.5.
Yeah,
I did?
6.5.
I was gonna give it a 7.5.
A
This one?
6.5? No, she gave the movie last week a 6.5.
Yeah.
That's what she was
No,
at.
she's talking about the last Alien movie.
Oh, the last Alien movie? Well, that was an 8.
Give it an 8.5. Because I do like it more than the
8.5.
last movie. But
Okay.
Okay. Eric, what do you think, man?
So I like the nostalgia to it. I've watched it before multiple times, so it still has that nostalgia effect to me. Practical effects, I like how they practical, even though they were short, there were some good practical effects. Cons on it, some of the actors, the dialogue form was not something I enjoyed. Mostly, who was it? Hudson. He was just,
He was killing it.
yeah.
Hey, Vasquez, you ever been confused for a man? No. Have you?
What killed me for Hudson though was like how he just became a whiny bitch. It killed me. I was like,
Game
man.
over, man.
Yeah.
Game
I was like, shut
over.
up, man. But so some of the dialogue wasn't the greatest for me. Some of the camera angles wasn't too fond of a lot of the camera angles that were on in the movie. So I gave it a 7 out of 10. Still up there, but I couldn't give it an 8.
Okay. Karen.
I think the strongest point that this movie has for me is that it created the Ripley character as we know her.
Yeah.
So I give James Cameron a lot of credit for that. I really was not a fan of the score in this movie, like at all.
It wasn't near as good as the
Yeah.
first one.
No, it didn't bring anything to
Mm-mm.
the movie at all.
I agree.
It was very forgettable.
I was actually
There was
gonna,
a score.
I was actually going to add that in my review too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very forgettable. Very, especially when the first one did such a good job.
hmm
Let's see. The ending. Yeah, you should do better.
Not the same.
Yeah, not the same. I really, really liked the Bishop character. I liked so much of the characters, and I really liked certain things about the story. I liked where it took Wayland Yutani as the company and kind of made the company a bad guy, even more so than the first one did.
And you got
just
to see a little
because-
bit of the company
You know-
too.
Yeah, because like in the first one, it was more like people within the company were the bad guy, but now it's like the company itself as an entity is a bad guy, because no matter who's working there, whoever's doing this, they're all on board as being assholes.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Coming
It's like
back
it's
to-
like in the interview process, like, are you a piece of shit? Well, my mom told me that I was kind of a prick. You're hired.
Exactly.
going back to the ending. I think all the Alien movies do it the same kind of ending. They all have a fight sequence, on the escape ship with the last alien.
Not the third one.
Not the third one.
Mm-mm.
I know Resurrection did.
Yeah,
'Cause you had
but
that
they don't go to
human-
sleep for that one.
humanized one.
They don't.
I
they don't-
guess.
They don't go to
I
sleep
guess
for that
I'm
one,
just
though.
saying James Cameron should do better.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not. I'm just saying, like, in my, coming back to the thought process of, I thought
Yeah.
all alien movies did that.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe it was just an alien aspect.
There was a lot of things to like about it. I like the Newton Ripley thing, and there's just so many things to like, but a lot of things not to like.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
man, it's really hard to rate this because it is a classic,
That's why I say
but it's
nostalgia
not.
comes
It's
into
not.
effect for me.
It's not wonderful. So, I'll say 7. I'll come in at a 7 with Eric.
Okay. I think for me, I've got a lot of issues with this movie because
I wanted it to be more than that.
I've got a lot of issues with this movie because the first one set such a high bar. The score was better, the atmosphere, like the overall dread and atmosphere of the first movie.
It's a 6.5. Sorry.
Okay. Is it because of the atmosphere thing?
I just kept thinking about it.
Yeah. So like the first one, like this one did a lot of things that the first one did way better. The atmosphere, the dread. Granted, I know this is like an action movie, and I'm not going to ding it too hard because of that reason. But dude, the score for the first one was so good, and this one just like didn't break any new ground. You know, it didn't do anything new or fresh
Yeah.
or anything really memorable.
Well, that
so,
was another thing I was going to say is that this one is more of an action movie and the first one was more of a horror movie.
yeah,
But I like the horror aspect more.
right. For something like this, yeah, and I get it, man, because this movie set the groundwork for what the Alien franchise would become, video games for the Aliens. It even set up the whole action horror thing with Alien versus Predator. There's a lot of things that this movie set up for that franchise because it started out as just a straight up horror movie, and they turned it into an action horror franchise.
Right.
So with this movie, and James Cameron did that.
Yep.
So, I mean, for that, I mean, I guess I'll give him credit for that reason, but I liked it more as a horror movie.
I agree.
I liked it as like this trapped in space, secluded, like with an alien, a killer alien type deal kind of movie.
Claustrophobic.
Yeah,
you
it was dreadful, and you
Yeah.
never knew it was going to happen or what was around every corner.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. But it's cool that, like it would be cooler if there was more like face-to-face interaction between the humans and the aliens. Instead of them just trying to pile into a room to get to these humans and they're just getting blasted away by gunfire. It doesn't make for a very it makes it entertaining, but it doesn't give it a lot of depth, I guess. It doesn't make it as entertaining as it could be. It's just a bunch, like these aliens are essentially just cannon fodder.
Yeah.
Taking bullets. And for that reason, like like I said, a lot of the action scenes, it's just they're so jumbled together and shaky and blurry, and it just doesn't make it that much fun to watch. I mean, and I noticed that watching it this time, it was more fun as a kid, I think, to watch. But there's a lot of things about this movie that, like the plot holes. I don't know. There's a lot of things about this movie that I just don't care for, but there's a lot of things that I do love about it. This practical effects. The special edition made things so much better. I do love the relationship between Newt and all that, and I also love the relationship between Hicks and Ripley. I love Hudson. I love all the Marines, honestly. I think the whole Marine thing is really cool. I think it's awesome. And that's another thing that was really opened up, and especially the video game aspect world of the Alien franchise, with the Marines and things like that. They brought that in. I think that the alien design in this is pretty cool. I loved the Queen, and I love the battle between her and the Queen. That's the best part of the whole movie.
Yeah,
That
whole
is the
fight
best.
thing.
That whole
Yeah, that's
fight is the
great.
best part of the whole movie.
It's just
Like-
too slow.
It's very slow, but it's also, like I said, that thing where the face-to-face
Yeah.
combat sort of thing. So that's awesome. But
Abed and Troy did it better.
but I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say I'll give it a 7.5, I guess. I was gonna go lower, but the more I thought about it, I was like, no, because there are a lot of things that I do love about this movie.
I was gonna say I thought you liked this one more than the first one.
I'm gonna have to say I don't.
You don't?
I don't. Watching it this time, I'm like, I think I like the first one more. Like, I love the first one. The first one was just good. It's just a good atmospheric sort of horror movie, and they do a good job. But that's Ridley Scott, man. He's a fucking king. He's good. He's good at what he does.
Yeah.
He's good at creating that sort of dread in that atmosphere in his movies with like his cinematography, his music, and all the things that he chooses to do theatrically.
He's good at giving you what he's seeing in his head.
Exactly. And I think he does a great job.
Yeah.
And he does a great job, man. So I'm going to have to say, 7.5. I love the first one a lot more than this one. So
Yeah. I think I realized that watching this one this time around too. So that gives our aggregated as a 7.4.
that's not terrible, though.
Not at all.
I know that this one is the more liked of all the movies.
It is. It's like the best one. So I kind of had like high hopes, not remembering it very well.
Yeah.
And
Because I remember it being a lot more
I mean,
fun.
don't get me wrong. I don't hate the movie. There was a lot I liked. It's just I like the first one better, and I remember
agree,
this
yeah.
one with more.
I think as you
pizzazz
get
in my
older,
head.
maybe you find more to like in movies like the first one. Like the first one's there's more to like there because you're like, I'm not, action movies are fun and everything, but when it comes down to it, you're looking for just a good, entertaining movie.
Well, I think it's
A movie that can put you in that state.
I think it's for me. It's because the first one was a horror movie, and I'm set up for that. Like
Right.
that one was a horror movie, and it was horrifying. So then you come around and you're watching Aliens, and like I know it's not a horror movie already, but since the first one was such a good horror movie, I'm like
You're still
I'm a
looking
little
for that
let
horror
down.
aspect.
I think
I'm a
that
little
if
let down that I'm not.
I think that if James Cameron would have had more of an opportunity to make more of this movie more of a spectacle, because that's where he shines
Mhm.
with his movies is like spectacle. With Terminator 2, the Avatar movies, all that stuff. He's all about like the visuals. What can I show you that you haven't seen before? How can I make this more visually stimulating? That's what he does with his movies. Whereas Ridley Scott's more about like that feeling, that dread, that sense, it's building this
Mhm.
atmosphere for you.
yes,
But like James Cameron's like, I want to make this fun and I'm going to make this, explosive and you're going to see some cool shit. And in this movie, he kind of fails at it because it's dark. It's, like there's some cool scenes in it.
well, I mean it's in space, so you've got to build the atmosphere.
Did
you
can't-
guys-
You can't rely on visuals.
Yeah. And that he's also working with a property that was already created.
yeah,
Yeah.
So he wasn't able to really just take it and run with it.
yeah. That's
So
true.
Did you guys see did you guys watch after the credits?
No.
The trippy thing.
Oh, the thing at the end of after the credits? No. That was weird. It was like the THX
It was one of the
symbol.
companies.
It was so fucking weird. It was a THX symbol, and it was like all these weird flowers and trippy shit before it like turned into the THX. You know what the THX
Yeah.
symbol is,
Yeah.
right? It turned into that. I'm like, what the fuck? It was just after the movie and after the credits, or was it before the credits?
It was after the credits.
Oh, it was so weird. I was like, what the fuck?
It was like
it was
all
so
these
trippy.
Flowers.
Like if you get a chance, because you've got it on Blu-ray, you've got it on Blu-ray. Watch
Did
this.
she give you a lifesaver before you
No.
saw it? Okay.
No, but that would have made it a lot cooler. But yeah, it was fucking trippy. If you get a chance, go home and like watch it after the credits. Watch the THX symbol,
Okay.
and it's so like trippy and weird. Like what the fuck? It's like these weird flowers and all kinds of shit. It's like weird alienated, like not like the Alien movie. Like I was thinking, well, maybe it's got some. No, it doesn't. It's just weird.
It's like flowers and shit.
It's like flowers and all
it's
kinds of
supposed to
weird
make you
shit.
feel better after watching the movie. You're like, oh, flowers.
No,
feels
no,
so
no. It was actually kind of weird and freaky. Like,
It
what the
was
fuck?
freaky. It was like moving and forming into other things.
It wasn't
Before,
like old school, like 70s trippy flower transforms into like another flower or something. It was weirder than that. It was like, yeah, some alien type shit. Not like Alien, the movie we just watched, but like just some weird out of world shit.
Yeah.
It was weird. Anyway, let's get into some Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
I have like a bunch of messages.
Yeah, my phone keeps blowing up too.
Is it people from the podcast by any chance?
No, it's Crystal.
Oh.
Somebody trying to call us?
No. Nope, still nobody doing that yet. Can you see it Madison
Can I see
in the
myself?
reflection?
No. I can't, I swear. Look.
Mess.
I'm not good at making eye contact. You should know that. I'm good at staring people who don't stare back, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. About it. Unless it's Gavin, then I'll stare at him until he looks away, because it's funny.
Yeah.
I'll just be like,
You bully.
we'll be eating.
Yeah.
And then he'll be like,
The fuck you staring at? Fuck, leave me
he
alone.
won't say that either. He'll just stare back at me until finally he's like,
Gets uncomfortable with it.
he'll get uncomfortable and look away and keep eating his food.
All right. Yeah. So let's go ahead and get into this. What do you guys think the critic review is? The critic
78.
percentage.
87.
74.
What'd you guys say? 74?
87.
78? McCarran's going to take this one. 98%.
98, really?
It's James Cameron. They're gonna suck his
Oh
dick.
yeah, Jim Cam.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
they're gonna suck that Cam dick. Yeah, 98%. So yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's
It
way
is
too high.
ridiculous.
Maybe we're just assholes. to this movie or
Maybe.
something, I don't know.
Maybe.
Game over, man.
Don't get me wrong. It's a good movie. It's just
Yeah.
not as good as the first one.
All right. So, what do you guys think about the
88.
audience score?
No, they suck his dick too. It's 93.
I wouldn't say that. I'd say probably maybe 80.
It's 94%.
Really?
94%.
Fucking Christ.
Oh,
Did you
yeah.
guess 94?
She said 93.
Oh.
No, that was
1
that was
point
close. Very close.
She cheated.
You'd be surprised. Some of these movies, you're like, oh, that movie had to be panned. Like, no, dude. They like, especially old movies, nostalgic movies like that. Like, yeah, they eat that shit up.
I can't say anything. I beat Karen both times last week, so.
Yeah.
You cheat?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Did she say you that you cheated?
Mhm.
Is it
Game
just a
over,
thing
man.
that you guys do?
Yeah, she cheated.
Okay. We're probably not gonna find
One bad review.
very many bad reviews.
Well, there's got to be
Look
the
for
Paul,
the Paul Rudd,
the
yeah.
Paul Rudd one.
the Paul Rudd one.
Yeah, Paul Rudd wasn't in it.
Okay,
Yeah,
here's a
it's a
one.
one star.
There's a half a star.
Ooh.
Okay, and this one actually. All right, hold on. This is good. Took everything interesting about the original and threw it out. Instead of a creative and suspenseful sci-fi, it's a guns blazing generic action film with sci-fi trappings. It's not good. It's no good. Okay, he had a good
Yeah,
reason.
that's
He has his
solid.
reason. Yeah,
Solid,
he's got his
yeah.
reason for not liking it.
Yeah.
So I'll give him that much. That's pretty much what we just said about it too. Was that
Pretty
like,
much, yeah.
But we don't hate the action.
we
part
don't
of
hate
it
the action,
either.
right?
I
Yeah.
don't hate the action part of it. I just,
just don't like it.
prefer.
But
the
I
horror
think
part
that's
of it.
why I liked seeing Prometheus so much, because like
Yeah.
the more and more I fucking soaked it in, I'm like,
Yeah.
man, it's just such a good movie because it was back with Ridley Scott,
Yep.
and it brought back that dread. It wasn't a fucking action movie. It was a movie that like built on that dread and that and that atmosphere, and that's what I loved about it. It was just a all around good suspenseful movie like that. I am seeing 4 and 5 stars. Keep going.
No, I won't catch it. We'll end up knocking
I'll
something
slap it away. I don't need any more of your hippie drugs.
Eric, I'm gonna toss this to you. Can you hand it to her?
I feel like something's gonna get broken.
Okay, I found another half
See?
star.
Yeah, throw a little
Okay, I got another purple one.
Yes,
I found another half.
Underhanded.
I found another half star.
I'm ready.
Half star. Another one. Oh no, it's a dumb '80s action film. Please go back to Pandora, James Cameron. And in summation, this guy stinks.
How can you say go back to Pandora? when
Simpletons
Pandora
will
didn't exist
enjoy
then?
this horse manure. That's true. Like, this is before Pandora.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he would say that. Madison, stop. Stop. You fucking crackhead.
By the way, you guys owe me $5 a pound.
Jesus Christ.
You guys have the friendly discount.
I didn't even open it yet.
Yeah.
You can have it back. All right, here's a 2-star. After all these years, it's abundantly clear that the original movie should have been its only outing, as each follow-up has diluted the premise into utter nonsense. The gung-ho army action is insane at best. The Vasquez character is awful, but she's not alone in being badly portrayed. At times, it actually tries to be Kubrickian in delivery and fails miserably. Give it a miss. A Kubrickian? Like,
I was gonna ask.
how do you get Kubrick
I was
out
gonna
of
ask the
this?
same thing.
Yeah, how do
I
you
got
get
no
Ku-
Kubrickian
No, not at
vibes out of
all.
this movie. Anyone else?
Uh-uh.
Kubrickian.
Kubrickian.
Okay.
The only thing that
Kubrickian.
it had in common was that there was Marines in it.
Yeah, Marines maybe, or
And was
maybe he's
made-
talking about the Hudson character, how he was just kind of like off the rails. But even then, he still wasn't so off the rails that he was like trying to kill his own guys. Anyway, that's all I'm going to do for that. Karen,
Yeah.
let's get into some goddamn trivia.
Holy crap, there's a lot.
Sweet ass trivia with Karen.
When filming the scene with Newt in the duct, Carrie Henn kept deliberately blowing her scene so she could slide down the vent, which she later called a slide 3 stories tall. James Cameron finally dissuaded her by saying that if she completed the shot, she could play on it as much as she wanted. She did, and he kept his promise. Bill Paxton continuously apologized to Carrie Henn throughout filming every time Hudson had to swear in front of her. Carrie later admitted that she didn't mind, mainly because she really didn't know what any of the words meant.
Little girl.
No.
I'm scary.
The knife trick scene was originally going to be done by Bishop alone. According to Lance Henriksen, he suggested to James Cameron to have Hudson's hand put on top of his, to which Cameron agreed, as Henriksen felt the scene needed something extra. This change was discussed with almost everyone except Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
Henriksen,
Yeah, I told you.
Henriksen also remembers a long night of drinking after shooting this scene, followed by a reshoot of the scene, as it looked too fake when they sped the footage up. He accidentally caught Paxton's pinky with the knife on this reshoot. Sigourney Weaver had several notes for James Cameron after having read the script. Although he could not grant all her requests, Cameron praised her for never taking issue with the direction he wanted to take with the story. Her notes were all about how she felt Ripley should respond to her situations, which he was happy to accommodate. James Cameron had faced a big problem trying to win the confidence and respect of the British crew, many of whom had worked on Alien in 1979 and were fiercely loyal to Ridley Scott. In order to try and convince them he had the talent and the skills for the job, he arranged a screening of The Terminator for the crew on the set to demonstrate his abilities. However, most of the crew ignored the invite and didn't bother to turn up. According to Bill Paxton, he improvised many of his lines, including the "Game over, man, game over." His famous line, "We're on an express elevator to hell going down," was probably improvised as well, as it doesn't appear in the shooting script. Lance Henriksen caught a dose of food poisoning from the milk and yogurt combination that he had to spew up when his chest was pierced by the alien queen's tail. Having this lactose combination sitting around under hot studio lights created a bacterial breeding ground. It started to smell so bad after 3 days of filming that most crew members got hesitant to go near Henriksen, who reportedly endured the smell and never complained even once.
Didn't they have that problem during the first movie too?
They didn't use dairy in the first one.
Yeah.
They used water with like a white
Oh,
colorant.
I thought someone said something about that in the first time we.
No, it said in the trivia for that one, it was they didn't use milk. They used something else because they knew milk would spoil under the studio lights. Not these guys,
Wow.
apparently.
Yeah.
James Cameron, like, no, we're using milk.
Yeah.
Because it's good for you.
It's good.
Oh, here we
It
go.
was good
In
for
contrast,
Or not.
In contrast, the crew of the first Alien film opted not to use milk for Ash's death scene, where he also spews the milky substance out of his mouth, as they recognized a fluid made of milk would go sour under the hot lights. Yeah, as we talked about. The grappling gun Ridley used at the end of Alien is briefly visible in the opening scenes while the escape pod door is being cut open, still stuck at the bottom of the escape pod door where the gun jammed 57 years earlier. The alien
Wait,
nest...
what?
The grappling gun Ripley used at the end of Alien is briefly visible in the opening scenes while the escape pod door is being cut open, still stuck at the bottom of the escape pod door where the gun jammed 57 years
It's
earlier.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's good that they left that little detail in there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The Alien Nest set was kept intact after filming. It was later used as the Axis Chemicals set for Batman in 1989. When the Batman crew first entered the set, they found most of the Alien Nest still intact.
I'd be walking away with one.
Right? Aliens was never shown to test audience because editing and scoring was not completed until the week before its theatrical release. Only a studio screening was performed for 20th Century Fox executives, which was enthusiastically received. Marketing experts later said the Aliens probably helped save Fox, which was in desperate need of a hit at the time. When Fox execs saw an early cut of the film, they complained to producer Galen Hurd that it looked like the money had all been spent on sets rather than special effects. Hurd took great delight in telling the execs that a majority of the sets that they were seeing in the film were indeed miniatures or optical effects. The artists behind these images were very pleased that their work had fooled the money men. The movie's budget for production design was almost running out when it was time for constructing the set of the hypersleep chambers aboard the Sulaco. Each chamber cost over $4,300 to build, meaning they could only afford to make 4 capsules. Production designer Peter Lamont had the difficult task of telling director James Cameron that they had to omit the entire scene. But he devised a trick. Clever placement of mirrors and camera angles made it look like there were 12 chambers instead of 4, allowing the scene to be filmed.
That's a good director.
Right?
That's good directing right there.
I read that before I saw the scene, because whenever we would pause the movie, I would look up more trivia because I knew there was going to be a lot. And I read that before I actually saw the scene in the movie, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, it looks... I never would have guessed that.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a lot of animosity on the set. The British crew was openly hostile to both James Cameron and Gale Anne Hurd. In their eyes, Cameron was a nobody who had not made a decent film yet, as they hadn't seen Terminator, while they openly mocked Hurd by claiming that she only got to be producer because she was married to Cameron, and that they wouldn't take orders from a woman. Cameron and Hurd, in turn, despised the crew's lazy, insolent, and arrogant behavior. One of their few allies among them was a production designer, Peter Lamont. After the long and difficult shoot, Cameron addressed the crew by saying that one thing kept him going through it all: the certain knowledge that one day I would drive out of Pinewood and never come back, and that you sorry bastards would still be here. Cameron indeed never did come back to Pinewood Studios, but he later hired Lamont as production designer on True Lies in 1994, and even got him out of retirement to work on Titanic in 1997.
That, and he did use some of those actors again, like Sigourney Weaver is in his Avatar movies.
Yeah. No, he was talking about the crew specifically.
Right, yeah. It's just crazy. I don't know, man. I don't know why people... But then again, he brought half of the people he knows onto this movie, because originally he did the first Terminator and brought on Lance Henriksen and Bill Paxton. Then he brought in, he used the girl who played Vasquez again in Terminator 2, so I don't know.
I think it was crew because I think it explains later. But anyway, Sigourney Weaver had initially been very hesitant to reprise her role as Ripley. She had rejected numerous offers from Fox Studios to do any sequels, fearing that her character would be poorly written and a subpar sequel could hurt the legacy of Alien. However, she was so impressed by the high quality of James Cameron's script specifically. Hold on.
Lost her spot.
Yeah. The strong focus on Ripley, the mother-daughter bond between her character and Newt, and the incredible precision with which Cameron wrote her character, that she finally agreed to do the film. She was, of course, disappointed when Cameron had to shorten the movie and cut the scene where Burke brings Ripley the news of just missing the death of her character's daughter, which Weaver felt would have completed the circle of the mother-daughter bond with Newt. But this scene was later restored in the special edition. None of the models or the original designs of the Narcissus, the Nostromo's shuttle from Alien, could be found. So the set designers and model makers had to reconstruct the model of the ship in the interior from the interior set from watching Alien. The alien screams are baboon shrieks altered in post. Unlike American studios... Oh yeah, here we go. So unlike American studios where crews were generally hired by the production, at Pinewood Studios where they were filming... where the filming took place, they come with their own indentured crew who weren't used to working 12 hours a day, which is an average shooting day in the U.S. Bill Paxton later said that the British film crew drove everyone nuts with their indentured work ethics, literally stopping filming in the middle of a complicated scene just so they could go have tea, go to the pub, or finish early. Michael Biehn made fun of the British crew in the audio commentary by saying that they weren't used to working.
It's true, though. They do have a very much lighter sense of work, like a lighter work ethic than we do in America. Like, we'll work 7 days a week, where they're like, yeah, no, I'm only working 5, and you'll be lucky if I work the full 40. You know, like,
Yeah. Can you be here at 8? 10?
Lucky if I'm here at 10.
Yeah.
And I need my tea time. 3 of them, to be exact.
Yeah. To bring the alien queen to life would take anything between 14 and 16 operators, since the head, neck, body, legs, face, lips, jaws, and tongue all had to move independently. Stan Winston constructed a mold from fiberglass and foam, which was subsequently dressed with black garbage bags and moved by 2 puppeteers inside, in order to shoot a test video as proof that such a large creature would be feasible. The fully built animatronic creature was so convincing that Steven Spielberg later enlisted Winston to construct the full animatronic T-Rex for Jurassic Park in 1993. The power loader was brought to life with a combination of a stuntman sitting in the loader behind Ripley moving the limbs, wires holding it up, and some miniature work. No electricity was used to power the prop. The scenes turned out so convincing that it fooled many businesses thinking that they could buy one for a forklift.
That's pretty cool, though.
Right?
They were pretty convincing, though. They were pretty slick.
Yeah. James Cameron had especially centered his story and screenplay around the character of Ellen Ripley, so he was dismayed to learn that not only had Sigourney Weaver never signed on for a sequel, she had not even been contacted yet to reprise her role. When Cameron finally contacted her himself and gave her the script, Weaver showed interest, but the studio objected against her increased salary demands, as she had become a bankable star in the meanwhile. The difficulties surrounding her contract negotiations were such that Cameron and Gail Ann Hurd, recently married, announced that if the deal was not done by the time they got back from their honeymoon, they were out. When they returned, no progress had been made, and shooting was due to start in several months. So Cameron, who had no intention to make the film without Weaver, but was also very wary of the deadline scenario he had created, devised a scheme. He telephoned Arnold Schwarzenegger's agent for an informal chat and informed him that, thanks to his newfound standing in Hollywood following The Terminator, he was planning on making this film entirely his own by writing Ripley out. As Cameron anticipated, Schwarzenegger's agent immediately relayed this information to his colleague representing Weaver at ICM, who in turn contacted 20th Century Fox head of production. Both men determined that under no circumstances whatsoever would Ripley be written out, wasted no time in sealing Weaver's deal. Cameron later expressed his relief that the bluff worked out, because if it hadn't, the film would most likely have been canceled altogether.
Yeah, I don't think the film would have worked without Ripley.
Absolutely not.
So, I mean, they could add more people in there, but you're losing that star-powered engine, I guess.
Well,
you had
the survivor of the previous film.
Yeah,
is always
how you can have that survivor and then not have her in this one?
It's always your most bankable character in the next. Yeah.
So
when the set crews
maybe if they did a second one and then did the third one and then brought Ripley into the third one, I think that would be like an oh shit kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like
but then you're kind of.
But then you're just selling yourself short on the second movie anyway. So.
Right, and if it doesn't make enough money,
then they're not
you don't
gonna
get
do
your
it.
bank.
The only way they could have done that was saying that they sent out a rescue team to find them, and then they ended up finding that planet and making a whole story about that. You know what I mean? And then later the third one comes in and Ripley comes back. That'd be the only way they could have salvaged that.
I don't know.
It still wouldn't have been as good.
Yeah.
But
when the set crews were looking around for floor grading to use on the Sulaco set design, they asked a local set design manufacturer shop if they had anything of the sort. Indeed, they did. An immense pile of old floor grading that had been sitting out on the back of their shop for the last 7 years. It was left there from when they tore down the set of Alien in 1979. I was
wondering where they found that floor grading.
There was talk of bringing Swiss artist H.R. Geiger back for the second movie to do more design work, but James Cameron decided against it, as Geiger was still working on Poltergeist 2: The Other Side, and Cameron had already hired Ron Cobb and Sid Mead for the futuristic buildings and crafts. Furthermore, there was only one minor creature designed to be done, and that was of the Alien Queen, of which Cameron had already made some drawings. Cameron later admitted that he had considered asking Geiger, but feared that the eccentric eccentric artist would be overwhelming and difficult to work with. Geiger later expressed some disappointment to Cameron about not being asked back, but still called the film's designs and execution beautifully done.
Yeah, but you can tell that like Geiger's missing from this movie. You know what I mean? Like, at the very least, I mean, I guess they did a good job with the Queen, but if you were to let Geiger fully do that, maybe he did. I don't know, because they did a really good job with the Queen.
They did a really good job replicating Geiger.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know if it would have been
I feel like they did a good job replicating Geiger.
right. Yeah, I guess.
Like the
Yeah.
tunnels and stuff, how they made
Well, that wouldn't
Yeah,
have been hard to do.
Just all of
Yeah, you're just essentially replicating what the set designs looked like before on
Yeah.
the first one.
that's what I'm saying is that they didn't. I don't think that they. I'll give them credit where credit is due. The Queen is awesome, but they didn't come up with, I guess, the things that made that universe what it is.
Right.
Yeah. According to Apone, the guy who played Apone, Al Matthews, when James Remar was still casting the role of Corporal Hicks, Remar was using an Ithaca Model 37 pump action shotgun, the same one that Michael Biehn can be seen using as Hicks in the film, and accidentally blew a hole in the set of The Little Shop of Horrors, which was being shot in the adjacent stage to
No
Aliens at Pinewood Studios. Matthews then said to Remar, "Where the fuck did you get live ammo?" Remar was recast by Biehn because Remar got busted for possession at the beginning of filming. According to him, he had a terrible drug problem at the time.
Who is this? James
Remar.
Who the fuck is that?
I'm not sure.
Name sounds really
He was
They
supposed
made
to- he
Little
was
Shop of
supposed to play
Horrors at
who?
the same time in this
Hicks.
Yeah, 86.
Oh, so Hicks got or
The
Lance.
guy, yeah. Michael Biehn
Yeah, Michael
was
Biehn
recast as Hicks.
James.
Remar.
So he shot a hole
Oh,
into the little.
he's
shop of
Dexter.
horrors.
He's Dexter's dad.
Oh, I did know that.
Yeah.
Shit. Because I looked that up before.
I think I knew that too, actually.
Damn.
Yeah, that's
Anyway,
Dexter's
yeah.
dad.
So yeah.
Shot a hole. In
He
the
shot a
little
hole.
shop of horrors
Yep.
set.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least nobody got hit.
Although it is probably her most memorable line in the film, Carrie Henn has said that she hates the line "they mostly come at night." Mostly. Her friends still occasionally tease her about it.
Yeah, because
No,
why
I
did
was
she say
laughing.
mostly?
I was laughing because I was thinking about fucking Seymour getting shot.
Seymour.
Yeah, but I don't understand. Like, why? Yeah, why does she say it? Did she? Maybe it's her delivery. It was supposed to be delivered different. Because she's like, they mostly come at night. Mostly. Like,
Maybe it's just a driving home. Like, they don't always just come at night, though. Like, don't just take it as that.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah, she's like, they mostly come at night. Mostly.
Yeah.
You know, she should have said it more like that instead of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like her
I think-
delivery
yeah.
was a little.
Yeah.
I think
Her-
it was out of
The
context.
deadpanness
Yeah,
at
it
the
was
end.
out of
should-
context, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. It was more like there was a period there instead of there should have been a comma.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Lance Henriksen was almost denied entry into the United Kingdom when he arrived for filming. He had been rehearsing Bishop's knife trick in the USA with several different types of knives since he didn't know which one James Cameron would use for filming. When he arrived in London, he had carelessly brought all of the knives with him in his luggage, and the customs official was quite alarmed at what he saw.
Yeah, because he's the type of dude that you're like, that guy looks really sketchy. He looks like he could kill somebody.
He really does, though. He looks like a serial killer.
He's
Yeah.
such a sweetheart, though.
They all look
I
like
really,
that.
really like this. Sigourney Weaver refused any information on the behind-the-scenes making of the Queen so she could keep the character real in her mind. So she
Oh.
did not see that Queen until she was upon her.
Hell yeah.
The name of the company, Wayland Yutani, was only shown once in Alien on a beer can, spelled Wayland without the D, Yutani. According to myth, the name was taken from the names of Alien director Ridley Scott's former neighbors. He hated them. So he decided to dedicate the name of the evil company to them. In reality, the name was created by conceptual designer Ron Cobb to imply a corner on the spacecraft market by an English-Japanese corporation. According to himself, he would have liked to use Leyland Toyota, but obviously could not, so he changed one letter in Leyland and added the Japanese of his, not Scott's neighbor. The longer special edition, which broadcasters seem to show instead of the theatrical version clearly explains why Ripley becomes a protective mother to Newt. Also, that the end scene is actually a battle between two mothers, Ripley and the alien. Bill Paxton ran into friend and colleague James Cameron shortly after the latter had been given the director's job on the movie. Paxton jokingly told Cameron, "I hope you write me a good part in it," and was subsequently called to audition. He got a fake plasma rifle to use, but he got too enthusiastic and later thought that his performance had been too over the top. Luckily, Cameron loved the energy that Paxton had displayed and offered him the part of Private Hudson, the movie's comic relief character. Paxton happily accepted, turning down the offer to play Zed in Police Academy 2, their first assignment.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Smart move, Bill.
He's one of those characters where I felt, my God, the audience is going to be so ready for this guy to die, said Bill Paxton, referring to Hudson.
Not really.
No.
Towards
Not
the
really.
end, I was waiting for him to die.
No, because he's the one who made that character so likable. You know, it wasn't written that
absolutely.
way. He made the character likable.
Yeah, it's because of who's playing him.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, but around that time period, whenever I saw Bill Paxton acting like that, I always see Chet from Weird Science. Always. Just because of the delivery, I guess. I don't know. The model of the derelict engineer ship is seen in the extended edition is the same model used in the first film. Fox had turned the model over to effects wizard and prop archivist Bob Burns, who had the prop sitting in his driveway. With some repair, it was able to be reused for the brief appearance in the film.
It was sitting in his driveway?
Uh-huh.
Why?
I don't know.
I wonder where it is now.
I don't know. My driveway, probably. I don't know.
Say, fucking bring it here. I'll take care of it.
Right?
That thing's worth probably thousands.
Knowing how Hollywood is, it's probably like paper mache at this point.
Probably, yeah. They don't take care of nothing.
Mm-mm. Several references to Robert A. Heinlein's novel Starship Troopers, the prominent use of the military during the orientation when Hudson asks if this is a bug hunt, the power loader, which was based on the combat exoskeletons in the book, and the use of the term drop. The original design of the xenomorph head from Alien was initially copied. It had a ridged forehead with a layer of semi-translucent gel covering the ridges to make it appear smooth. When James Cameron saw the heads as a work in progress without the gel, he thought the ridges made the heads more interesting, so the gel was left out. The difference in appearance between the creatures from both films has since been the subject of several fan theories, one being that the ridged xenomorphs from Aliens are much older than their only hours-old counterpart from the first movie, and have lost the covering gel as part of their natural maturation process. Another theory is that the ridged aliens are a warrior caste within the species specifically bred to protect the queen.
Okay.
I forgot about that second one.
Yeah, that makes sense too, actually.
Yeah, equally. Melissa Joan Hart appeared briefly as one of the children at the Hadley's Hope Colony in a scene that was cut from the theatrical version of the film.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't see her, but I wasn't looking for her either.
Yeah, I wasn't either.
James Cameron based his screenplay on an unrelated story that he had written around 1981 titled E.T., until he found out that Steven Spielberg was making a movie called E.T. the Extraterrestrial. He first retitled it Protein before settling on Mother. It was about a female human creature hybrid that had been genetically engineered to be able to survive the toxic atmosphere of the planet Venus. The story also contained a conglomerate company that funds space mining and terraforming, and the term xenomorph originated from this treatment. The end saw a human protagonist, not unlike Ripley, battling the creature in a power loader as the hybrid tried to protect its offspring. The Colonial Marines were added at the request of producers David Giler and Walter Hill. Cameron was also writing Rambo, the First Blood Part 2 at the time, and his research into Vietnam veterans and post-traumatic stress disorders proved very useful when writing Ripley's story arc. The idea of a planetary atmosphere that is toxic to humans was later reused in Cameron's Avatar. 2 queen heads were used, one of which was designed to be sturdy and durable, the other lightweight. Both heads incorporated hydraulics and cable controls to articulate the jaws and lips, while the heavier hero head had additional functionality, including a working inner jaw and the ability to tilt on the puppet's neck. The 2 stuntmen inside the puppet, who were concealed within the queen's chest, controlled
her tets.
Yeah, controlled the creature's forearms. One of these stuntmen, Nick Gillard, later played in a background prisoner character in Aliens 3. Yeah. It wasn't in the budget to create the opening imagery of a robotic arm cutting into the shuttle and discovering a sleeping Ripley. James Cameron paid to have the scene included out of his own pocket. Sigourney Weaver based Ripley in Aliens on a very unsentimental environmentalist friend. For the scene where the Marines drive to the nest and the APC director, James Cameron instructed Carrie Henn to whisper something to her doll Casey. When it was time to record additional dialogue for the scene and Henn was asked to repeat her lines, she admitted that she had just whispered something like, "This is stupid, why am I talking to a doll?" The recording team then had her say, "It's okay, don't worry, it'll be okay," which matched her mouth movements just enough. Henn later admitted that she never told this to Cameron. That's it. I just thought that was really funny that she was supposed to say something encouraging to her doll, and she was up there saying, "This is stupid. Why am I talking to a doll?
Why would I talk to a doll? I've been hiding from aliens for weeks.
Yeah, why am I
And
talking
I'm
to
talking
a doll?
a fucking doll head.
Why am I talking to a fucking plastic head?
All right, well, that wraps up Aliens. Let's figure out what we're going to watch next week, everybody.
Yeah!
Barney,
Yeah!
Next week morning.
you need to lay off the caffeine.
I had milk.
Good, you good.
The boob?
Aliens 3.
Oh, well, I'm not getting the picture.
The boob picture?
Yeah. I forgot to.
I used to look at that picture all the time whenever I was a kid because it was always hanging up in the living room. I remember asking one time why she was naked, and I don't remember what Dad answered. It was something.
Everybody's naked under their clothes.
Yep.
That's not what you
Slither.
Slither.
Another horror movie. Okay. Well, Slither. Fuck it.
said.
We're
How
doing
many
it.
horror movies do we add in there?
No, I guess.
Quite.
67.
Not as many as we had a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah. It's dwindling.
All right, so next week we're doing Slither. Yeah, so be here for that. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Check out our TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and of course our YouTube. And don't forget to comment. Check out our Rumble. And do us a favor and go over and give us a rating on Spotify or whatever you listen to our podcast on. If you are listening,
Wherever
to
it
us.
is.
Wherever we are, rate us. And if they like YouTube, they don't have a rating system. So what you do is leave a comment card on the comments, like a comment card.
Oh.
If you can't rate, then Dad's gonna be in your closet tonight. I mean, it's that simple.
Some of them might want me in their closet though. Who is that?
I don't know. I did not look.
Jesus. Everybody's blowing our phones up all of a sudden. We got
All
shit to
day.
do.
No,
We're
I
doing
never have
podcasts.
anything
This
to
is
do.
podcast time.
People
Find
only
out
ever
where
decide
it's
to
I know my
text me
mom
whenever
just tried
I'm
calling
busy.
me. I'm like, ignore.
It's
Sorry,
Grandma
Mom.
Kathy.
It's Mom. Yeah. No, don't answer it. Just ignore it. Sorry, Mom. We'll get back to you in a minute. Anyway, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And you guys have yourselves a wonderful week. Next week we are doing Slither
Slither.
by James Gunn. All right, love you. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.